Roll call.
Judge Marcus Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Sarabanda.
Here.
Commissioner Alonso.
Here.
Commissioner Luisa Talamantes. Present. Commissioner Bradley Duvall. Here. All present.
All members of the court are present. We do have a quorum. 1.3, Pledge of Allegiance and salute the Texas flag.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, honor the Texas flag, and allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
1.4, testimony of presenters. Please be advised if you are to present before the Commissioners Court, you are under oath. 1.5, public comments. Public comments. 1.6.
Judge, I have a public comment. If the citizens of Dimmit, Carrizo, Dimmit County, or whoever sees our equipment there at the office that we're bringing in, and it's being used, the only issue we're having is if we were leaving it out on the county roads, and now it's getting vandalized. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if the other commissioners are being vandalized or not, but we bought a new shredder, and they broke the window in the back. So it's a $1,700 repair. So in case anybody has a question why our yard looks full of equipment and it seems like it's not being used, we started bringing it in to avoid the damages and occurring more cost than what it actually could happen. So, like I said, if anybody has a concern, they can address me and I can address them. So, why is the equipment being brought in?
1.6, approval of meetings of March 10th, 2025, and special meeting minutes on March 11th, 2025.
Was it the special meeting with the city?
Yes, ma'am. That's the March 11th meeting. Correct.
And no correction, so moved. Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba.
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, hours of operation for golf course have changed to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. due to daylight savings time, precinct 1.
Judge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I believe this was supposed to be an action item, agenda item. I don't know why it's on information.
If you look at the item, agenda request submitted by Ms. Melissa Medina on 3/13/25 at 4:48 p.m. She submitted it as an informational item.
Okay, obviously I think it was your own now, but I'll give.
Do you want us to re-put it on the next one, Commissioner?
Yes, please.
I sure will.
So table.
I was just put on as an informational, there was not going to be no action, but I'll put it on the next one. 2.2 and 2.3 were going to be informational items. However, I have advised with our grants writer and Mr. Pereira, and we are going to get some clarification on that information. So, I mean, you can still read them as informational on what is planning to be transpired for transparency purposes. However, there is still some ambiguity in regards to the informational items. So
It'll be brought back for approval.
it may or may not, Commissioner Rubalcaba. We're trying to get some clarification from the governor's office because we have two different informations from Mr. Pereira and from Ms. Rodriguez in regards to moving forward. I know that Sheriff Castañeda had advised my staff that he was not going to want to move forward with getting that ATV because his understanding was because it was a grant, it didn't need to come before the Commissioner's Court for approval since it was already granted by the grant. We were going to put it on here as well, but he did advise Ms. Hernandez that he didn't want it anymore, but we're going to keep in communication with him.
Judge, may I?
Mande.
I feel that if anything that has this is just me, has to do with the purchases of OLS and any item that needs to be bought by the county should be as an action item, due to the fact that, it was always been like that until recently started changing. However, I personally don't see the reason why buying another pickup for the EMC is.
Well, we're not gonna go into it, I just mentioned to
No,
you,
but
Commissioner,
it's
that,
informational, but I wanna give you my input.
okay, you can give me
Because
your input at the next
I wanna
meeting.
be transparent.
Well, that's what we're being
And
transparent, we're
that's why
putting it on there.
I'm declaring what I'm having to say, that, being that she has a new truck, I don't see the reason why purchasing another truck would be for, the EMC. And I don't know how many, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have that many miles, but I don't feel comfortable going through informational on purchases that might not require action item. But I want to be transparent to my constituents and the people of Dimmit County before taking an informational purchase. Because really, I haven't had no information about the purchase through the OLS before, and I would like to know what has been done.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your comments. I will take those to note.
So we're gonna bring.
There's not gonna be, there's not gonna be no action. That's why I mentioned that the governor's office sent Ms. Rodriguez an email, and then Mr. Pereira called me and advised me something else. So we're trying to get it rectified, to be transparent.
Okay.
So no.
There was never gonna be any action, period. It was just put on there for information, but as I mentioned, we're not going on it.
Judge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
for any grants,
Mhm.
and I understand these grants, how they're put together and how they're supposed to benefit our county. But is there any way, would it be too much to ask for if we could have maybe Ms. Rodriguez present a report on the status of each grant as to where the money is being allocated? And I feel it's not so much I think it'd be more for transparency, just for the general knowledge of Commissioner's Court, because we have people that come, law enforcement personnel that come and ask, hey, what do we have to do to get certain items? And some of these items, for example, could be purchased through some of these grants, but if we don't know how the money's being allocated or maneuvered, we really cannot help or even answer this question. So do you feel it'd be too much to ask for a report on not just about OLS grant, but
You can go forward, Ms. Rodriguez.
but every grant that we have any type of relation with?
So,
I'm
Running
sorry.
out.
So when I apply for a grant, there needs to be certain items and budget line items. And whether it's awarded or not, then that's how we know how to utilize the funds. So, for example, for OLS, it's for the whole county. The district clerk got money awarded and it's specific per line item what they can and cannot get. The same applies for the county clerk, the auditors, the treasurers, and et cetera. So what my department does is that we make sure that the money is being utilized. And we do the POs on behalf of the department, and we submit it to the auditor's office, and then they're the ones that, we do the whole PO process, and they keep track of how much money is being utilized. I have tracking as well, but we compare with the auditor's office to make sure that the numbers that I have match their numbers as well. So it's not like we can just go by drastic things.
And I understand, because that's the same process for us, even with
Yes.
our budget. Once our budget is established, we can't just go by. We have to go through the same process we're
Yes.
just going through. However, our transparency shows up on the claim document.
Mhm.
The grants, we don't get to see none of that,
So-
what's being purchased. So my question is, what?
So for like the monthly report, you want me to put exactly what we purchased for the month?
Basically, it's the simplicity behind it is, look, the county was awarded X amount of money, and this is the way it was distributed, or how it's supposed to be utilized.
Mhm.
And this is where we're at, this is what we've used, and this is what we have. to
Okay.
use. The only reason I'm asking is because in doing a little research, I found that there's some counties neighboring counties that have encountered legal issues because
Yes.
of Commissioner Scarp not knowing.
Yes.
And then everybody wants to back off when they're like, hey, we didn't know about it.
Yes.
So I think the transparency must.
Oh, yeah,
be
for
there,
sure.
You know, and that's the only reason that I'm bringing this up.
So would you like what we've utilized for the month or where we're at as of, you know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
think
no,
per
no.
grant, no? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, per grant.
grant.
Let's just say OLS, this is what was awarded to the county, and this is what's been spent on what, and what departments received what, and then this is what's left.
Okay.
That way, whenever we do have a discussion about either vehicle, computer, whatever, we know, you know, where it's going, and for one thing, in reading the OLS grant, I've understood how it's so important that it's used directly
Yes.
for OLS, and they continue to use the word directly.
Mhm.
So with that said, you know, as Commissioner's Court or as a commissioner, you would want to say, hey, hold on, maybe this is not really falls under the right category. We can have an open discussion and say, you know what,
Okay.
we want to stay away from trouble. Let's really look into it, or let's do a little more research on it. But if we don't know what's where,
No, I understand.
there's no way of us even,
So can we get, if I provide a report monthly, can we also get one from the auditor's office so we can make sure that our numbers match?
absolutely. I think it's cross-reference.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, do you think like it's required monthly since it's like you don't use that money monthly from that
Quarterly,
grant?
even quarterly.
Quarterly, I was gonna say, cause I know that not every month you're gonna be purchasing something with that specific
Yes.
grant. So maybe just like a quarterly
Okay.
update, so it doesn't get too much work on both of y'all guys, cause we wanna be successful and being transparent
Okay.
and understand exactly.
Even quarterly would work.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
I have a quick question. On the change orders, do you guys have any change orders for OS?
Not recently. I mean, but I am gonna do a budget adjustment for the district clerk's office because she has a supply list and she's lacking $400 and I have to move it out of one of her salaries. But I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to.
On the procurement process for purchasing, which procurement do you follow the same as the county, or you have your own?
Same as the county.
Same as the county. So if it's the same as the county, then anything we purchase should come from Commissioner's Court.
But where on the policy does it say that?
It's been followed for the past 15, 20 years that anything that is purchased goes through Commissioner's Court.
Even office supplies?
Not the office supplies, but any equipment like for this.
Oh yeah, I understand anything over 50,000, I understand that.
The reason I'm asking is because on the LOS, it says police, sheriff department, on the agenda item, where it says to purchase, where you guys did it, it said for sheriff department vehicle. So it just says sheriff department vehicle. And over here, it says the SUV for you, and I don't see it anywhere in the grant that it says.
Which budget item are you looking at? From what date?
That's what I'm asking, is there a different one for their?
Yes, and every time there's a budget adjustment, we give it to the auditor's office.
Okay, so I don't have that, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, the auditor's office has it,
It's like,
and it's listed under the county judge's office, line item.
it's like Mr. Linda said, I think that, I mean, or Mr. Carmona had mentioned, but I know we're getting out of track, but, the vehicle, I know it's a brand new, we just purchased it in 2020, and I know the sheriff's office needs more vehicles.
Yes, I agree.
and everything else. So that's why I just wanted to make sure that we're following, if it's the same as ours. or which one
Yes, and
it
every
is.
time there's a budget adjustment done, I give a copy to the auditor's office.
Mr. Pereira, please provide us with a copy of it, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With this report and the auditor's report would definitely
Yes.
benefit, and it probably eliminate 80% of the questions.
Agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What? I'm sorry, Sandra.
Can I make a note? They'll only buy so much vehicles for the sheriff's department. It's not gonna be, if you have a vehicle someplace else, they're not just gonna go to the sheriff's department and buy it for the sheriff's department, because they want the county to purchase vehicles for the sheriff's department also. Just a note.
I know that we haven't bought the sheriff's department vehicles since 2014. It's been 6 years.
We bought 4 of them last year, Commissioner, when we come to the OLS grant.
No, through the grants, but I'm saying the county, we haven't bought any vehicles.
Through the grant, we bought 4, I think, so, or 6? 4? Through the grants. 3.1 approval of bonds, agreement bonds, and suspicion. We have 1 bond out of the county clerk's office. We have one bond out of the county clerk's office.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Second.
Yes. Second, who was that? Commissioner Ocampo?
Commissioner Rodriguez.
I would like to see it. Thank you.
Have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, second by Commissioner Ocampo. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.2, discussion and appropriate action, update regarding review from outside legal counsel, road use agreement, Samsung C&T Renewables LLC.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Saul Stroud. I am a project developer for Samsung. We are developing Rose Court Vest in Big Wells. The last time we were here, we sought a road use agreement. However, that was tabled for legal review. And I'm checking in to see if there has been any movement on that review and any questions that you have that we can answer.
The property that you just want a road agreement, what is it that you're asking from the road agreement? Just to use the road, or are you asking for like the upkeep and maintenance?
Well, we're gonna, based on the weights of the batteries and the equipment that we're gonna use, I mean, other counties in the past have taken that information and required us to use or to enter into an agreement just in case our equipment damages the road.
And so that would make you financially responsible
Yes.
for repairing the road?
Yes,
So then it's not anything that you want the county to bring the road up to standard?
no, it would be all on us to do all of the improving.
And what road is this again, I'm sorry?
Barker Loop.
Barker
Road.
Loop?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I think that when you came before, it was before my time, so,
Yes, ma'am.
Where's Barker Loop at? Oh, on the right, right there by, that's just a regular aggregate caliche road, right?
Yes, sir. It's a county road.
I believe there's a category in between. It's a 20-foot category that I installed about 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
20 foot wide between the edge of pavement and the last gate. That's it, other than that's aggregate base.
Are you saying the cattle guard, because it's gonna like close?
The category belongs to the West. They came to Commissioner's Court 10 years ago and they got approval.
Okay.
And I was working for them now, so.
No, but I was saying like, are you saying like if, to take that into consideration?
Well, yeah, because depending on what weight, what kind of weight are you looking at?
Yeah, that was my next question.
Battery containers can weigh up to 40 tons. Some of the equipment that we've used in the past, I know a crane that we would use to move those batteries has a max capacity of 160 tons.
Okay, so yeah, that category would probably may sustain some damage. So-
But if they were to damage it, then they would want an agreement so that way they would be responsible for replacing it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So that would be,
Just so it doesn't come back on us too. Because we understand that there are going to be, that weight could have an impact on the road. So if there is no agreement, then what kind of
Yeah.
recourse?
And I know that you were saying, obviously we don't own the property that you're gonna be, building your plant, correct?
That's correct. And we have an option to lease with that plant.
You have an option?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess something to take into consideration, moving forward as well, is that I do know that, I don't know how in relation this may be similar, but I know that we have a solar plant out there, heading towards Big Wells as well that has caught multiple fires within, Mr. Carmona.
Is that Shakes Solar?
Yes.
How
But
many
is there any-
fires?
I'm sorry?
How many fires?
We've had probably about 6 this month.
6 this month?
But is there anything from the fire chief's point of view that you would recommend taking into consideration, just trying to get ahead of it?
But this is gonna be on property that doesn't belong to the county.
I know, but just,
The only thing we can do is only protect the property. Whatever agreement they make with the landowner, then they will be responsible for it. I cannot intervene telling them do this, do that, because it's private property.
oh, okay.
So what we've done for other
The
counties.
only thing I ask also is, if it's preventable for fires, have us a hazmat sheet and everything that contains in there.
And that's-
It's a state law anyway.
Sure, and so what we've done with other counties is, there's been concerns, right, with fires.
Yes. And the
For-
spills.
yeah, for a lot of these-
If they're dry batteries up, they start.
Yeah, absolutely. So-
They're harder to put out.
What we've done is provide training for the local fire departments,
Okay.
local volunteer fire departments. We do adhere to those standards, to international fire code standards for those containers. That's how they come, that's how they're delivered to us. However, if that's something that you guys would, it's not out of the, it would be something that we could provide as far as training goes. It's something that we would, that we
Yeah,
definitely would do.
we're trying to get some training with State Fire Marshal Association on the lithium batteries and all that. But if your company can provide some kind of training, that would be acceptable.
And that's something that we do for all our projects, so absolutely.
It's hard right now with these EV cars, you know, we can spend about maybe 20,000 gallons of water just per se. And water here is very valuable.
Yeah.
And we're still not gonna turn off that car.
No, you're
So
absolutely
what
right.
they're doing is just letting them burn, monitor the stove. And, you know, there's no electrocution or anything, so everybody thinks that you get electrocuted. But you gotta take precautions and just let it burn. And it might sound that we look ridiculous out there just standing around watching it burn, but people don't understand the.
Well, let's let it, sure, but you also want to
Yeah.
contain it
Well,
so that.
we contain it.
So that, yeah.
We call a hazmat team to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not gonna put water that contaminate a creek or the
Runoff.
drains that run through those highways.
Yes, sir.
Because then the company is responsible to come do a hazmat and remediation clearing. So we call TCQ and then they come and take samples and then they tell you how much there needs to be excavated and remediated.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
But we follow all the rules, but just for my sake.
Yes, sir. And as do we. We just are trying to get to a point where we can, well, we have the lease, but we're just trying to see if we can get to a point where we can.
And have access to
Use
that.
that, yeah.
So that they-
We do have
Right now, we
access.
have a hard time, sometimes in the solar panels, they
Yes,
give
sir.
the combination, it changes the next day because there's people going through it.
Yes, sir.
So my best key openers, if it's got a lock, I'm gonna old cut the locks.
Yes, sir.
May I ask who you're leasing the land from?
His name is Amador Garza.
Amador Garza?
Yes, ma'am. If you look at County CAD, it's referenced as Saluga Ranch. However, he owns the southeastern 80 acres. It's not correct on CAD, but just know that that's
You said Saluda, right?
Saluga, Saluga.
Okay, so since you're kind of getting ahead of the gun and you're saying that you will take responsibility for any damages that your battery facility or your field will take responsibility for the upkeep and maintenance of that road.
Up to the point where we
Yes.
traverse, because I think because our property our subject land sits on the corner, the state highways, or the FM roads,
State Highway 85.
say what did you say? 1846. So our state, it's right there on the corner at there's a substation. So we would just need we need it to turn around, essentially, to move the equipment onto the property. So and we would obviously have that surveyed before we did anything, so you guys would know exactly what
part?
parts we're
Yeah.
using. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Strauss, it's gonna need some more information in order for us to, in order for us to transcribe the proper terminology, because I was advised, here by Commissioner Uranda that obviously that cattle guard doesn't belong to the county, but it's within that county road. So there may be some stipulations that we might need to put additional language in this
Absolutely.
contract
Absolutely.
to include that cattle guard, that it's not going to be on the county's dime if, for whatever instance, the tonnage exceeds the
Absolutely.
amount of weight that that cattle guard can take, because it does not belong to the county, but it's on county property.
Yeah.
So I would, an abundance of caution, I would like to have that language included
Sure.
in this legal document. So what I'll do is I'll get with Mr. Pereira so that we can get with our legal attorney to include that language, have that sent over to your legal team, and get that language in order so that it suffices for this board.
Can I motion to approve with the stipulation of that language being added in there? Because what if they don't even go up to the cattle guard? Do you know if you're gonna be passing that cattle guard, or you're
Well,
just?
they are gonna be.
I would assume we are. I didn't even know there was a cattle guard there, and I'm about to drive back to the site to see.
Okay.
Just to, if you, yeah, I believe you. I totally do. So I just want to go make sure. Yeah. So whatever's there, if we are going to fix whatever.
I would like to make a motion to table it until we get all the proper language on there. And I don't know, Judge, if you might want to add also training for the fire department that they're gonna provide. So we can get all that language together, and we don't have to, on the next meeting, have to amend something or just table it for the next meeting. And see. That's my recommendation.
So
we
if,
have one motion to table, we have one motion to approve. Let me go first with motion to approve, subject to the stipulations and language being rectified. Do I have a second? That motion dies. I have a motion to table. I have a second. I have a motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. And I have a second by Commissioner Miranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
before I
Yes, Mr.
walk,
Stroud.
how would you guys prefer that we follow back up? The last time I was here was 6 months ago.
What I'll do is I'll get the legal counsel to read the document and add that language. And if you can leave me a business card with an email, that we can email it
I
to
will.
your legal team.
Absolutely.
And then I guess whenever it's set
Yes, ma'am.
and ready to go, that's gonna be the language that you
Okay.
guys are okay with and the attorney for our county's okay with,
Yes, ma'am.
then we'll set on the agenda for it to be
The next time.
discussed
Okay.
and approved.
In that case, I'm gonna go out to my corporate business
Okay,
card, but I will bring it back to your office.
thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can have communication with me as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
3.3, discussion and appropriate action, approval to open engineering RFQ package for Dimmit County 2025-2026 CFC TX CDBG 0241.
Good morning, I'm filling in for Mr. Raul Diaz. Good morning, I believe, can be opening the engineering RFP.
This is for Maida. We have one from Maida Engineering. I believe that's what it's called, Maida. They have a professional liability insurance coverage of 2 million. There's no particular numbers in case, here, go to Macala if you want to look at it. There's no, here's another one. This is six S Engineering, I believe. 6X6 S Architectural Surveying.
What are we doing? Like, what are these for?
These are,
Go ahead.
this is for the Colonia grant. These
Okay.
are more like resumes, so it's not gonna give you specific numbers on anything, just more like a resume to just overlay.
It's the
Oh,
same.
okay. I think I got a little confused because I remember seeing him here for the Colonia, because you said it jogged my memory on what it was for. Thank you. This is for.
It's just for resumes. And this one is from Fulcrum Consulting Services. Commission. Questions? You have the first one?
We put them both in that envelope.
Oh, yeah, because that one didn't come with the envelope, the first one. And this one? So,
We have to score.
they're gonna have a review committee that scores them.
The review committee, it's gonna be on the next item, the review committee is gonna be built by y'all, and it's going to be 3 members.
I see it on the next one. I see it. I was reading the wrong one.
Just, you're going to just open.
Yes.
Thank you. I skipped 3.4. Okay, is there a motion that I have to approve the opening of the packets?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba, second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.4, discussion and appropriate action, approval to appoint The review committee to evaluate and rank the RFQs for Dimmit County 2025-2026 CFC 250241 TXC DBG.
Do you need a motion?
Sí, Commissioner.
So moved. Oh.
What are we? what is
Yes.
that?
Yeah, so we
Oh.
do need to appoint 3 people within the county, could be any 3
I thought you-
to review, but
But it can be 3 on the commissioner's court, isn't that the quorum?
Last time it's been 2 from the court and the grant writer.
yeah, so it can be the grant writer, the judge, the commissioner, or 2 commissioners.
This Colonia project that Mr. Diaz works with usually has to do with me and Commissioner Rubalcaba, or the other commissioners included.
It's maybe 3, 4.
Well, then I would like to be on the committee just so I can prepare myself to understand it best that I can, so that way when it's my turn around, I have a better understanding of what it is. And Wash, Valerie has to be on it as well, right?
I know, last time it was one commissioner, then Mr. Pereira, and I know Salinas been on it.
Well, I don't want to take her place, but. Well, like I would step down because
I
it's
don't
her
wanna take
project.
your place, but I'm taking your place.
No, like-
So I'm gonna put the county judge, how it's been historically, Commissioner Rubalcaba, Commissioner,
No, I'll let her take it since it's her project and she should be on it.
this here is yours, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Commissioner Rubalcaba.
Since you're new to me,
It's up to you. I would like to be on it just to understand it, but if there's nothing you need to this year, so I understand that we could be in the place that we need to be ahead of any decisions or any information that we have to get.
I just wanted to clarify, I know for the Colonia, originally we applied for the Carrizo Hill area to do the water restoration,
Yes, they
But-
told us last
Yeah.
commissioners.
but we still have the option of doing either Bagels or Asherton. So that's still up in the air, whichever one you guys decide.
No, I'll step down and Commissioner.
Okay,
Rubalcaba.
it would be Commissioner Rubalcaba. Commissioner Rubalcaba, you said it was Selena, or who did you say the last time?
I know before we had Ms. Rodriguez and we've had Mr. Pereira also.
Can we do both, Ms.?
You can do both.
Rivera? Okay. We'll have Ms. Rodriguez and Mr. Pereira. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
3.5, discussion and appropriate action, approval to use the old barn for a haunted house in October, South Texas Heroes.
Morning, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ricky.
Morning, Judge, morning, Commissioners. So we'd like to have approval to use the old FHA show barn to host a haunted house in October the 18th. October the 18th.
Is it going to be a one-day event?
It is. Oh, it'll be 17th, 18th.
It's okay. Let's see. So, so we have October, yeah.
Yeah, side.
Yeah.
Well, Commissioner, the October 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday. So like the 17th, which is a Friday to prepare, 17,
Right.
18, 19, and the 20 to take. I mean, that's obviously if the commissioners are all in agreement, but
Right.
those are the dates.
Mr. Rivera, the show barn you want, where you guys did the carnival, right?
Correct. It's the old show
Yeah.
barn. Yes.
We would need access to it beforehand so we can clean it out and get it ready.
That's what I was saying, the 17th.
No,
I was
day
saying-
before.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the whole
It
day.
hasn't- I don't think we was in
I
the
mean,
years.
it's
That-
open, you guys can just go in and whatever.
That's
you
on
do
your-
with
on
them.
your territory, right?
There's a combination lock on
There is a combination lock.
it. Yeah.
I'll give you the combination whenever you guys are ready to go do whatever you guys need to do.
Perfect. Perfect.
But it's been cleaned out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they use it on every other weekend and then BP uses it.
Oh, no, we're talking about the barn.
He's
itself.
talking about the barn,
The show barn. The show barn.
the show barn.
That's why I was asking if it's where the carnival was.
No,
or-
where the
No,
actual barn.
that
That's
belongs
To the lady, Ford, what is it? The lady,
the junior.
Where we
Yeah.
used to have it, where we used to have it back when we were in high
Yes.
school? Like
that
the
doesn't
actual-
belong
yes.
to the county.
It's not ours.
Oh, okay, okay.
We're in the section not to the county.
Okay, so my understanding is it belongs to the Livestock Association, but the county has a 100-year contract on that whole area. And the way the contract states is as long as there's events for the youth, the contract continues. And
So
we
do
talked,
they have to come through us or no? Could be,
Well-
go with Richie, they used to go with Richie and Ms. Bullard and Ms. John. So I don't know if that's.
The parent association.
Yes, I don't know if that still stands.
Because I think if I'm not mistaken, going back to what Commissioner Ruga was saying, there is a contract with Dimmit County, but only as far as it goes for the 4-H program, which is why Richie would get involved, and Ms. John and Ms. Bullard, because Ms. John and Ms. Bullard were the president and vice president of the Parent Leaders Association. So the contract that we have may be very well the contract between the 4-H, but since 4-H is partially funded by Dimmit County, so I think on its surface, we could approve for them to use it, but let's follow up with Carissa and Alyssa and the parent associations to make sure, because 4-H goes through Texas A&M. I'll look at the contract, because if it's through Texas A&M, do you have it?
I have a.
Can we get the
And
contract?
the contract that Ms. Bullard and that they were dealing with is specifically for the metal building right there in the corner where they don't have it.
Across.
Right, their meetings, that one. Now, the rest of it is under contract with the county.
Just making
And
sure.
that's what, yeah, that's why we still perform some maintenance out there. Commissioner
So then it's
Rosado,
not the Livestock Association.
No, it's not the livestock.
Exactly, because you said the Livestock Association, so it's not the Livestock
No.
Association, it's the county.
Making sure before we say yes and then they can say
No,
no. They
that-
didn't come through us.
But it has been clean. Mr. Jaime, there's some panels in there.
Can I see that contract, Commissioner?
Yeah, okay.
And I would say, subject to the review of that contract, if it does indicate that the county has a contract for 100 years, I think subject to that stipulation, I vote that you guys can use it, but obviously you'll have to use all of it. Everybody has to vote.
So it'd be the 13th through the 20th.
For that week starts on the 13th.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take a long time to set up.
Well, it depends how scary I'll make it. I don't know about that, Commissioner. But we can offer some people. The 13th, hey, it was her idea. She said we can offer some people out there for you guys to make it scarier
We'll take all the help we can get. Yeah, we'll take.
without mask. The 13th of October is that Monday,
Mhm.
which is that week of the 18th and 19th that you guys are talking about.
Perfect. Yeah.
That would be good. So, subject to reviewing the contract, Mr. Uranda will get that for me, but subject to reviewing the contract, I'm gonna motion that South Texas Heroes utilize the barn area and the barn for a haunted house. Is it a fundraiser?
It is a fundraiser, yes.
Fundraiser to commence on October the 13th. And for it to cease on, what day did you say, Commissioner Luca? The 21st or 20th?
The 13th through the 19th.
Yeah, but then for them to clean it up and all that.
22nd.
The 21st?
Versus Monday, so.
The 21st is Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday, yeah, it should be.
So October 13th through October the 21st of 2025.
Did you
What?
say okay the fee? I was just asking if there was a fee in relation to
Well, we didn't even talk about that, but I mean, I can pay the fee if you want.
it. I was gonna say.
I'll pay the fee. It's not a
I
big.
think it's
Thank you.
Is it what, $50?
$50 we have to pay.
Ms. Ms. Boone, is it $50?
For the,
Or you've never done it, right?
We've never used it, we've never.
Never used the barn? So I'm gonna request respectfully from this court to set the fee at $50, given that it's a fundraiser. Yes, ma'am.
that's the barn or the arena?
No, the barn, the barn.
Because I was gonna say that we don't have a book for the Board of Patrol.
Yes, no, that's why Commissioner Rubalcaba was trying to clarify. The barn, where back in the day where you
Yeah.
showed pigs back in the day? Yeah, there,
So that's that one.
yes. Because the arena board. That's fine with me, I don't care, I mean, whatever you guys want.
As long as that way we're covered.
So the fee will be $10. And my understanding is that Commissioner Rubalcaba, Commissioner Talamantes, and myself will be pitching in $3.33 to pay for that. And I think there's about 9 cents left. We'll have Commissioner Odena pay okay, Commissioner wants to pay the 9 cents.
I'll pay that tender, pay the $2 a piece, you know, man.
That would be $8. Ah, you're right.
We can tip the
Darn
county,
it.
we can tip the county.
That's why I'm not a math teacher. It's $10, just for the record, Ms. McDaniel. It'll be $10 paid by the members of this court at $2 a piece. Yes, sir.
Just one more thing, when this does take place, and y'all are ready to go in there, if y'all will, please let me know, because I know the guys went in there and cleaned it, but there's a lot of panels,
Yeah.
the original panels that were used for the pins, and that way we can figure out if there's a place within the barn that we can move them and store them, or if we need to pull them out of there, we can try to remove them. Because I think those panels do belong to the Livestock Association.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, we'll get with you.
Thank you.
There's also some plywood.
Oh, yeah, some plywood sheets in there. All that can be stored somewhere else, maybe within, somewhere, yeah.
Go within the, yeah, I don't think we plan on using the whole,
Oh, okay.
it's just gonna be a section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna do this during Trick or Treat? Or the week before?
It's the week before, 2 weeks
Yeah.
before, actually.
It's too big.
We plan our rally for the 24th, 25th.
Yes.
Ah,
We're gonna
okay.
do it away from our rally, so we,
Have enough time.
yeah.
Thank you guys for doing this. This is, I think it's great for the youth that will have something to do during those times. There's great people that ask from Cali who doesn't have. I think in the past they've done something similar, but I really appreciate y'all taking the time, and the initiative to do it.
Sure.
It's gonna be great for the teams in the area.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, we appreciate y'all's support, for sure.
Teresa, the city does it, but they do it the weekend of trick or treat, right?
They used to do it, but they haven't done it.
The fire station.
Out a couple of years.
I remember, yeah, the fire station.
The fire station, because Julie was on the fire squad.
I don't know, yeah, guys are coming from my time, so y'all better not do it.
So I have a motion by myself. Is there any second? Second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.6, discussion and appropriate action, approval to use the fairgrounds for the toy rally on October 24th, 2025, South Texas Heroes.
So moved.
Second.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
that would be for 2 days, 24th, 25th.
Okay. Commissioner Rubalcaba, is your motion for it to be used on the 24th and 25th? And that one is a $50 rate is what we charged the last time. Commissioner Rubalcaba motioned it. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Yes. To 3.7, discussion and appropriate action, approval for tax assessor collector Mary Sandoval, motor vehicle clerks Ricardo Martinez and Omar Salgado to attend the Texas DMV Web Dealer House Bill 718 training, April 2nd, 2025. I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. I saw Bernie. Bernie, I have a question. We have, never mind, I found it. I was gonna say, I don't see the travel for the gentleman. Oh, I found it. I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Julissa Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.8, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 1, Ms. Sonia Guerrero Perez for the month of January and February 2025.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, Commissioner Judge. Judge, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the reports, it comes out that you're in precinct 11.
It's precinct one, polling place one.
Ah, I was like, it keeps showing precinct 11 on here.
Yes, it's precinct one, polling place one.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Talamantes.
Second.
Who second? I'm sorry. Commissioner Rubalcaba. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
3.9, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 2, Mr. Alberto Esquivel for the month of January and February 2021.
Morning.
Morning.
So I suppose it's the same thing, right, for him?
Yes, Judge.
It says 21, Precinct 21.
See, Judge, the pin is mightier than the sword. But I write it.
Motion to approve.
I tell you, Judge, just never know. Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. All, oh, go ahead.
Everything up and running, Mr. Stewart? Everything good in your office? Everything's up and running?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
3.10, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 3, Ms. Leticia Hernandez for the month of February 2025.
Leticia, Judge Hernandez did advise me that she was not going to make it in today.
Motion to table by Commissioner Rubalcaba,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry.
3.11, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from JP Precinct 4, Mr. Alfredo Martinez for the month of February 2025.
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners.
Morning, Judge.
Everything's up and running in your office, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am, yes, yeah. Commissioner, everything's been going pretty good. This has been doing pretty good too, just hanging in there.
That's good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, and I have a second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. I feel like I'm at the bingo. Like, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor, Commissioners.
3.12, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from District Clerk Ms. Marisela Gonzalez for the month of February 2025.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Maria, I have a question for you. You know I always ask you probably the same question over and over. I had a constituent come to my office and ask about a case that they had for a burglary of a habitation. Obviously, that's a district case, not a county case. Where are we at in terms of the cases being presented by the district attorney? Are they still just mainly OLS cases?
Give me 1 second, Judge.
Mhm.
I'm trying to look at my February indictments. We had a total of 29 indictments that were presented to the grand jury. And we had a total of 3 smuggling or
OLS cases?
And the rest of them were combination of burglary and theft and evading arrest, unlawful possession of firearms. So they're slowly trickling in non-OLS and regular felony cases. Like the month of January, we did not have grand jury. So I'm not sure.
Right here it says, file 170 and then OLS 94. And then on the report, and then it says for 2024, 2025, 56, and then 18 OLS cases. From the 56, I'm assuming.
I do hear that we have a lot of crime in Dimmit County.
That's what my concern is, Ms.
And
Mari.
so what I was getting at is that I feel that there could be a lot more indictments being presented to the grand jury. In the month of November, we had a total of 17 indictments. December, we had 11. In January, we did not have a grand jury.
The reason why I'm asking, Ms. Mari, is because I started looking at those numbers and I'm really concerned. I've had several, like I said, constituents come to my office thinking that I'm the part of the district judges, and you know that, and they've gone to your office as well. And my concern is that when I look at we're a tri-district, which is Dimmit, Maverick, and Zavala, you know that. When I look at our counterparts, there's about 100 and something cases per month being indicted in Maverick County. And here in Carrizo, there's, what did you just say, like 9? And you and I both know, and the sheriff's report obviously shows that there is crime happening in Dimmit County. However, there's not any justice being done in terms of the cases being indicted. And I'm concerned about that because, like I said, I have the constituents come and say, like, why are y'all guys not doing anything about my cases? And I've sat down with Sheriff Castaneda, and Sheriff Castaneda has told me, like, hey, we're giving the cases to them. Like, I don't know what else to tell. And you could agree with me, Chief, is that the cases are being submitted to the DA's office, but then, and obviously the numbers don't lie. I mean, if there's, and we get the monthly jail reports, and if we have about 50 arrests in the weekend, but in that month we only have 9. And I understand that case takes time to investigate and be presented, but I'm just concerned that there's not cases being indicted here in Dimmit County, and there's not much of a priority here. It's the priority, and I wholeheartedly understand that Maverick County is just a way bigger county than we are. But you and I both know, working in the court system, the noise you hear that cases are not being done here in Dimmit County.
My recommendation is to have a meeting with the district attorney and the sheriff's department and find out what the problem is. Sheriff's department claims they're submitting the cases to the district attorney's office. District attorney's office claims sheriff's department is not submitting cases. Let's bring both of them together and find out where the problem is.
I mean, I agree with you, because I know that daily you'd have to agree with me, we have people come to your office and my office upset because their case is nowhere. And a lot of the times the case is a felony case, so it goes to district. And I always tell them, like, okay, well, I can direct you to the district attorney's office, or I can direct you to district judges Flores or Abascal. But I'm just concerned when I look at these numbers that we only have 9 I think this is probably the biggest number we've seen is 29, and from those 29, like you mentioned, 25, 26 are regular cases, the rest are OLS. I'm just concerned that our county is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to indicting cases, and like, is there not a priority for Dimmit County in terms of justice?
Excuse me, Judge, what page are you looking at so I can look at that? 'Cause I think I'm a little lost.
It's Miss Monty's report,
Page 87.
87. I mean, would you guys agree, or would y'all feel different? I mean,
Because I'm seeing, 170 and then 94, so that's,
okay, so like for that one that you're looking at,
yes.
just to put it into perspective, in last year, there was 170 cases indicted here in Dimmit County. That means there was 170 crimes
Okay.
that were committed in violation of the penal code here in Dimmit County. From those 170, 94 of them were OLS cases, to which could be the smuggling of persons, it could be evading arrest, it could be unlawful possession of a firearm, and he had an illegal there with him. So from those 170, only 76 cases were non-OLS related, which means only 76 cases in the entire year were other than OLS, which means from those 76, it could have been murder, deadly conduct, aggravated assault, sexual assault of an adult, sexual assault of a child, indecency with the child, family violence, aggravated robbery, burglary, theft, drug case, felony DWI. Only 76 is what we're saying. 76 cases in 1 year. Do you know that in Maverick County, they indict over 100 cases in 1 month? That's 1 month.
And then this year it's 56 and 18.
And so far this year is 56 cases that have been indicted, and from those 56, 18 have been OLS, so that means 38 cases. I mean, if nobody wants to talk about it, that's fine, but I think that's a serious problem, and, you know, Marty and I have talked about it before, and I know that, like I said, I've talked to the sheriff, and I understand your recommendation, Ms. Marty, that we should bring the two together, but I know that when I've talked to sheriff, he's told me that, I mean, you talk to the DA's office more than I do, but I know when I've talked to Sheriff Castaneda, he's told me they've given the cases that there hasn't been anything.
I think that's the best solution, is to bring in both of them and ask them. Then we can get both of their feedback on it and see what actually the problem is. Maybe they are turning in the cases, they're just not being reviewed by them, and they're just being left alone. So the numbers are not gonna match, but we need to make sure.
That was my next question that I was gonna ask you.
And the sad-
Any, like,
And the
cases
sad
that
part
not
about
been
it is,
wait at your office, or no?
say that again?
No, like if there's anything like that might be like they have to wait to like review or something, or like, is there anything that to say like, okay, maybe the sheriff's office does take it, but then we're waiting for like information on a witness or something?
I know the issue is the sheriff's department submits the cases to the district attorney's
And then they would
office,
come out on this file
and
for
they
sure.
sit at the district attorney's pending review.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then I don't know what happens.
And they don't come to you on
And
you.
they don't get.
So they're not your, yeah. So
And-
then they're not
and
your
And the
report.
biggest problem that we have, and it affects everything as a whole, is because, and I'm glad that Ms. Montes is up here, because I've had calls from the jail. The problem is that we have somebody sitting there for months, and that's costing the county a lot of money, because we're having to feed them, we're having to give, and some of these defendants have medical problems. I just signed a PO for like $10,000 for somebody to get some kind of a shot or something, right, Ms. Montes? And those are not county attorney cases, they're district attorney cases. So they sit there for a long time, and they're not going anywhere. And I just, to me, it's concerning because I don't know, is it that we need more help here in Dimmit County for the DA's office? Or do we need, what is it, what's the solution? What's the solution to get, I mean, and another thing, Commissioner Rubalcaba, going back to what you're saying is that, when you worked at the sheriff's office, you know a lot of these cases have a statute of limitation. So if somebody goes and burglarizes your house and it sits there for a couple of years, it can lapse and you no longer have any, ¿me entiendes? Like you're not gonna have any more justice because the case time has expired. So, I mean, there's no justice for.
All the ones that we have here at the Dimmit County Jail, I made a list of the names and how many days they have and what are there for the offense. And we did submit it to the district attorney, and we also submitted one for the county attorney, advising them how many days they have been there. So far it's been kind of like working with them and see if they're still have proof that they're gonna be charged with it. Some have been dismissed because not enough evidence. So that's what we're going right now with the DA. I don't know about the outside of, out of the jail, but inside the jail, that's what we're doing right now, and we're working fast on our side of the jail. But I don't know the rest.
Well, I thank you, Ms. Montes, for that information, and thank you, Ms. Mari, for being honest about it, because sometimes everybody wants to tiptoe around the issue. And I mean, I had, last week alone, literally had 5 people walking in, and one lady, Ms. Martinez, was very, very mad because somebody burglarized her house, and it's going on 2 years and nothing has been done. And I don't know what to tell her.
The judge does close the files, and it goes to records after it goes to investigators. After investigators, I don't know where they go after that.
How many investigators does Dimmit County have?
So the way, we don't have any the way the county district attorney's office, I don't know, how many investigators do they have, Ms. Mari, like 7?
4.
No, not the sheriff's office. I'm talking about she's asking about the DA's office. I think like 7.
7 or so.
Well,
It's Richard and it's,
no, but Richard and Erasmo are technically, so to speak, assigned here, but in total, he has about 7. Yeah, because they have Eloy, they have Clemente, they have Erasmo, they have Hasso, they have Richard Guzman, they have Toralba, they have Michael, that's 7 already, and Jessica. So they have 8 investigators. But normally, historically speaking, Erasmo and Richard are the ones that come here.
when I was working in the jail, I would call them constantly when I had people sitting there. Constantly calling them, say, hey, either you send me something, because these people, I gotta get them out, but you need to call them like once a week to keep track of them. If not, they have other cases they're gonna deal with, and we're sitting here. But they need to call Erasmo or Richard. Those are the.
That's what we do.
Yes, and tell them, hey, you're still here, I need something in writing, or a PR bond, or something from the district judge.
We're gonna have to.
I mean, because we keep going around in circles, and we go and ask certain office, whichever one it may be, it turns into he said, she said.
Yeah.
I think the best results we've ever seen is when we get everybody in here that's involved. And hopefully they have supporting documentation to show, hey, look, this is what we received, and this is what's pending. If not, we have a serious issue that we may have to take some type of action in some way, because we have to reply to our constituents. And we can't kind of just do the same thing, just sit here and say, well, hopefully if it gets resolved, it's not going to get resolved. It's not going to work.
Yeah, because I emailed everything, whoever's in the jail, that, hey, this guy's been here for 95 days, status on it. And I do for both of them, but district and county.
Get the judge, PR bond? Get them over.
And we bring it back and bring them in here, because I know the county is paying for one investigator.
Well, that's what we had said at the last budget here. You remember that because we were contemplating on reducing their budget, but Mr. Serna or somebody from his office came and told us that they would affirm that they would have somebody here at least a couple days out of the week.
At least 2 days, because I got the call from
Mr. Serna.
Mr. Senna stating that they were going to be here.
No, back in last year when we were doing the report, because there was some talk about them us reducing the budget, and I know that Mr. Saradon was making phone calls, so I think he even called you too, Commissioner Uranda. I know he called Commissioner Juan, because Commissioner Juan had told me that Mr. Senna had called promising an office or somebody here. I wouldn't know that, I mean, it'd be if he speaks with the sheriff's office or not. But I'm just concerned about it. I mean, I kid you not, I had literally, especially that lady last week that came, and she was really upset because nothing was being done. So, thank you so much. Other questions?
So you're gonna put it on the agenda for next, Commissioners Court to bring both
Well,
parties?
we can, I mean, I can put it on there, but for right now, it's to approve the clerk's report.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Odena, second by Commissioner Talamontes. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Mari.
Thank you.
3.13, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from County Clerk Ms. Claudia McDaniel for the month of February 2025.
Ms. McDaniel, is there any way that you could flip the report?
Like print it like straight out of the center, the digital file.
Yeah, I don't think it's the Ms. McDaniel.
So can, you
She's
can,
good.
can we flip the report? Because usually when we get Ms. McDaniel's, we're like this.
I'll see what I can do though to increase it or I better read it. But it's easier for her.
I have a motion by Commissioner Talamontes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. 3.14, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Dimmit County Assistant Fire Chief, Mr. David Torres, for the month of February 2025.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
As you can see, for the month of February, we had a total of 9 calls with one burn ban citation being issued. We had 2 motor vehicle accidents, and the rest were brush fires, as well as the brush fire there at the Shaker Solar Farm.
Do you know why it's catching fire, Mr. Torres?
We've been told different stories, ma'am. They're saying that they're the panels. People are saying they're the wires, but it has not been confirmed yet on what the actual is. But we do know that there is some vegetation around some of the solar panels that they are trying to take care of as far as upkeep.
After so many calls, do they, like, I know that it's obviously the fire from the county, but after a certain amount of calls, do they get to charge for those calls or no?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Can you say that again?
Like, let's just say you're getting calls to the same place over and over and over again. Do y'all guys charge them after a certain
No,
amount of
ma'am.
calls?
No, ma'am.
Are you legally not able to charge?
No, ma'am.
Because it's a volunteer service.
Yes. Since we are a volunteer service.
Manager,
Yes, go ahead.
mostly what, I've been working with them on these fires. It's mostly because of the solar panels that are being broken, They're replacing 400 of them right now. And one of the issues is also the temperature settings on those panels needs to be increased. If they're at 1,000, and you know here in South Texas, we get 110 degrees, they're gonna reset the temperature on those panels to see if that can alleviate the problem. Maybe by next year, they're gonna bring in some, sounds cliche, but they're gonna bring some goats in so they can eat the vegetation around it, and they're gonna do it per section. every time there's a fire, it's a 15-acre fire. So, there's ways that they're trying to improve the conditions. Can we build? No. It's a volunteer fire department. They're doing what they can to try and prevent what's going on. Like I said, right now they got techs that every time they replace, I'm gonna say 1 panel, 3 panels might break because of the heat. And sometimes when we get those hailstorms, I know we haven't gotten rain, but or dust is flying, I guess it makes the screens are not clean, so they crack. So they're trying to find a solution to take care of it. But for the time being, we're gonna have to keep on responding to theirs.
I would think like a caliche pad too would help a lot in this situation to stop the fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do know up in West Texas, I've seen it where they do place livestock inside the properties to I guess, eat the vegetation there, or they're also running a risk of these livestock animals damaging the wires and, you know. We all know that.
I was
they chew on
gonna say,
everything.
wouldn't that be oxymoron, because the goats would chew up the wires that are there?
Yes, it would be.
It's something they're trying out there. I mean, right now it's just.
Mr. Torres, I have a question for you, staying on the topic of transparency, as your boss said. I got a call last week about an accident that occurred with one of the fire trucks. Somebody went to one of the volunteer fire investigators went into a brush fire, or went into a brush, and the whole axle fell off from the bottom.
That's not true. There was an incident with the fire truck where the steering tie rod broke due to a hidden stump that was inside the grass. It's already been fixed. The truck is in service. We used it on Saturday at that grass fire. So as of right now, we don't have any trucks that are incapacitated. They're all working just fine. And then the one that you're talking about is our small brush truck. That one was just the steering tie rod that broke off. It was replaced
How much did that
this
cost?
week, last week, and then the wheel alignment was done on
How much
Friday.
did that cost to fix it?
It was, I think, less than 160 for the part, and then 159 for the wheel alignment for the entire truck.
And Metro did that for you? So like 200 or 100?
The what, ma'am?
How much?
I
How
got
much
the
all in
quote,
total?
ma'am. The driver was me. I was the one that was driving. It was a stump hit. Yes, a tie rod broke, not the whole front end, nothing, the wheels didn't get damaged. So what happened was we replaced the tie rod, but instead of just doing one, we went in and replaced all of them because we wanted a new steering tie rods. Was it damaged on purpose? No. We were trying to get through a high grass area and the stump is hidden. And as we arrived, it unfortunately hit that stump. So accidents are gonna happen. And whoever investigated and said that the axle was broken, that's a complete.
Oh, I can tell you, no, I can tell you, because I'm not gonna hide around constituents said or anything. Mr. Lara, I know called,
Yeah,
I know
well,
Mr. Lara called you.
Ma'am,
Mr.
right
Lara
now,
called me.
there's issues with Mr. Lara, with the fire departments. And I know he was gonna call, because Mr. Lara can't get along with him in county.
No, I understand that.
And you
I
gotta
don't know
understand
what
the fact
I don't know what the
that he lied,
relationship.
and I'm gonna say it clearly because he lied. There's no damage to the truck, it's a motor or power steering leads or radiator. The truck has a plate underneath there that protects the engine, the oil pan, and everything else. Unfortunately, the stump caught the end of the tie rod, it broke. Yes, the wheels went crazy. Anybody knows that when a tie rod breaks, your wheels are gonna go out of place. One facing this way, one facing that way, both facing inward. It was an accident, and the driver was me. Was it expensive? It was maybe $300 or so. If you want me to pay it, I'll pay it. But the thing is, don't lie and make a big story out of nothing.
Judge,
Lately, we
Go
haven't
ahead.
been having a
Go
lot of.
ahead.
Are you done, Mr. Carmona?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I did receive a call as well, on that situation. Were you at a city fire or at a town?
Yes, ma'am, we were actually
So you were
responding.
assisting on
We were actually assisting Carrizo. Well, actually, we were responding because they had already been requested out there and there was a delay on response time. So the sheriff's office was I guess, told to dispatch us out as well. They responded as well, but we were there, as far as in the beginning, we were there assisting them.
So were you there first or were you there second?
No, the city fire department was already there, ma'am, on scene. By the time we went en route, they were already
So
en
who
route
was
to the
running
call. So
command?
we went to go assist, mutually assist on the city of Carrizo.
So who was running command?
I,
Well, if
Mr. Carmona.
it's a city and the city.
On our
got their
department,
part.
because when we separated from the location, the city fire department was protecting an adjacent property. We were on the back property of the pond residence, which we were trying to keep it from spreading that way. So we were all of us were under the command of Mr. Carmona at that call, at that part. The
Okay,
city was under the
so-
command of Mr. Lara.
Okay, so between Mr. Carmona and Chief Lara, who is the point that runs the call between them two? Since Lara was on the scene first and it's in the city limits, who runs the call then?
It's Mr. Lara that's originally on the call.
Because he was the first one there.
Yes.
So did he advise y'all guys to?
No.
So then y'all guys just ran command by yourselves, but you followed county?
As far as rank command on what, ma'am?
Well, who told you to go drive through the brush? Who told you to go through the back?
We went out there, ma'am, because of the fact that the property, adjacent to that property was already in danger of getting caught on fire. So we activated ourselves as going out that way to go ahead and stop
So
the
y'all
fire from
took it
spreading to
upon
the back.
yourself to go back, and then that's when there was damage to the truck?
Yes.
Okay.
ma'am,
And who was driving again?
Mr. Carmona.
ma'am, I made it clear that I was the driver.
Oh,
I made it very clear.
you made it clear, yes,
But
but that
let me
doesn't mean
tell you
that I
something,
believe you.
and right
because
now-
at the end of the day, I have constituents that call me, and I have my responsibility to them, to voice and to be their voice when I'm up
No,
here.
I understand.
So I'm gonna double check and I'm gonna cross-reference all the time. I understand that you're saying that you were driving, but that is your word, the same that you're saying it. I'm gonna double check with everybody else, because at the end of the day, my
I'm the
voice is
driver,
already,
ma'am.
my
Why
voice
would
is
it
already
be
told.
somebody else?
And if I'm being honest with you, I was told that Mr. Carmona wasn't the driver.
No, ma'am.
No, he was a driver, ma'am, because I was
When I
inside that
say-
vehicle when it happened with him.
Because then when did it come up to say that another firefighter was being yelled at because they were told to do that and they were getting yelled at because of it?
That was our other that was one of our other firefighters responding in a different vehicle, ma'am. We were already out of water. Mr. Carmona directed him to go over there to them, so we weren't out in danger for the fire spreading to us. If I'm not mistaken, the fire chief stopped one of our fire trucks in the middle of the road, told him that he needed to stay there. Firefighter told them that he was requested out that way for water assistance. That's when the individual went ahead and said, no, he used some vulgar words toward my firefighter and stated that he's in charge of the scene and he tells you what to do. So my firefighter felt, not threatened, but my firefighter did feel that, that wasn't right from what would happen.
Honestly, but on the same situation, I do know that there's been similar situations where Commissioner or Chief Carmona is out on scene, and if it's in the county, then I trust that he's the one that's point of contact. And if the city were to come and step on his toes and decide what they want to do and what they didn't want to do, then he would have a lot of the problem with it as well. So you would see how Chief Lara did have a problem with trying to get control of the situation as well, because had it been done to your fire chief, you would be sitting here arguing the opposite side, wouldn't you?
Exactly, ma'am. And it's happened before, but this was prior.
Man, Judge, that's why we don't, not that we're proud or anything, but hardly the city assists us. We got enough firefighting equipment there that we take care of the county. And the thing was that we were trying to protect the house, that where the grass was going.
Was the house abandoned?
That's when Miss Valerie, with all due respect, Miss Valerie Rabbit, is the house gonna burn? Am I gonna let it burn? No.
Are you talking about her?
Yes.
Oh.
Am I gonna let it burn? No.
Oh, they live
Her
there?
relatives.
Okay.
Now, rest assured right now, there is no mutual aid assistance between the city and the county. It doesn't exist. Because since they changed chiefs, as well as Ashton, you have to do another mutual aid agreement between the cities, and the county. So as soon as they replace the chief, the mutual aid agreement goes out.
I understand
But we're
that,
assisting them because we want to assist them.
but then wouldn't that
never-
put you
never
legally
would I-
responsible
would-
because you didn't have the
Mr. Lamontes,
agreement?
I got the floor. Never would I blame another fireman that they did it wrong, they're gonna cover for me. And all that, it's all open because I was the driver. When I check out with that fire truck, I say 142 is en route to the fire, which means that's my unit number. I'm driving and I get to the scene. In the county, we hardly have any English. We run our calls, we put them out, same as just an example is the solar panel. We asked them for assistance, they didn't respond. So am I gonna worry about them responding or not? No, I gotta take care of it. Am I gonna get upset because, no, that's our call. I rather call Dilly, Big Wells, now that they got their truck running, and leave towns unprotected. That is one of my priorities, that I'm not gonna pull up any fire equipment to assist the county and leave those towns unprotected. So never when this just started, we worked with the other fire departments for the longest time. As soon as this man comes into place, there's a lot of issues. There's issues within their department. But I'm not gonna go and instigate. I'm just telling you how the county responds, and yes,
So
I
did
am
you
the
have a
fire
meeting?
chief,
Did
I
you
am
have
the
a meeting
fire
with the
chief, and I
manager?
take the responsibility.
So did you have a meeting with the city manager of Carrizo?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
didn't think it was any of the commissioners to know what I do between the fire department and myself. So I had a meeting with her privately, and if you want, that's why I'm gonna address it today also. And I'm gonna.
So you have it on here? And so
I'm gonna put it in executive
Okay.
session, and I'm gonna clear everything out.
Okay, because my thing is, if you're saying that there's no mutual agreement, the same way that we're not allowed to pick up brush in the city of Carrizo because there's no mutual agreement and
But-
it legally bounds us. So if we were to be caught, just the same way, if you were to be caught with county property on top in the city of Carrizo because there's no mutual agreement, you're legally,
Am I gonna let somebody die now for a piece of paper that says, we don't have no ma'am?
you said.
I'd rather go to jail than have you locked up than lose a life.
You said, you were the one that started. All I was
No,
asking
you're
was
the one
how
that's
much it
instigating,
was.
man.
No, I'm not instigating it. I didn't even bring it up. All I said was how much did it cost? All I said was how much did it cost? That's
Okay.
all I was asking, and then you flat out interrupted me, and your tone and volume again, that we always have a problem with,
No.
adjusted,
You like to instigate.
and I like to instigate.
Yes.
Commissioner, really quick, did you make a report on that, a police report on that?
Yes.
You made a police
Yes.
report?
Was it reported to the judge's office of the accident? Judge?
No.
It'll be reported in the next meeting now. We report by Monty, ain't it right, Judge? Or am I need to be reported right before we need?
Or when it happened?
But if I may, I'm just gonna say, you know, it's unfortunate that we have to go through these issues, especially in a time of emergency, when somebody's life or personal property may be in danger. It's a shame, but there's only, certain people need to take responsibilities for their actions. However, I am gonna make a recommendation, Mr. Torres, to you, and I'm not picking on anybody, but in the future, if you ever encounter a situation like what y'all just went through, I see both ends. It can be blown out of proportion, because I myself received calls basically saying the front end blew out of it, this and that. To me, it kind of seemed like the radiator was pretty much in the back of the truck. It wasn't that case. So to protect your department, my recommendation would be next time you encounter a situation like this, take pictures, document it, and, you know, Commissioner did file a report, but I would follow the paperwork to the county judge, and, because most of the calls come to her. And if any of the other commissioners call her, or, actually the process does, depending on the severity of the accident, but when there's an accident, we're supposed to file it to the county judge because of other issues that have happened way in the past. We're trying to protect ourselves, but transparency, you do your part, hand it over to them, and you know, people can speculate all they want, but what's done is done.
Exactly.
And just to piggyback off of what he's saying, Mr. Torres, is that I got calls by some of from the sheriff's office, and they were upset because they're like, well, how come when we have an accident in one of our vehicles, why do we have to do a police report? Why do we have to go and advise you? And why do we have to do a drug test? Did the fire office do that? And I was like, no, I haven't been advised. And I honestly, I'll be real frank with you, it puts me in a pickle, because it's like I'm forcing the sheriff's office, when they have an accident or mess up their vehicles, they have to come and do a police report. They have to come and give it to me because we do it to the, and you know, Chief's agreeing with me back there, but they have to come and submit documentation to me because we have to send it to the insurance, and then they're told to do a drug test. I don't know if any of those things were done with y'all, because I wasn't told, and I'm not, I just need to know so that I won't be in a pickle, because I was like, okay, well, I didn't know about it, and then I was advised that Commissioner Uranda knew about it, that Commissioner Talamantes knew about it, and I feel like everybody knew about it and not me, and then I'm getting calls from the sheriff's office like, well, you're letting them slide, and it's not that I'm letting anybody slide, it's just that I didn't know about it, and that's why I'm questioning, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
because we have to all have the same accountability, like,
Yes, ma'am.
it's like, you know, we ask questions and we doggone bite and don't let go when it comes to a certain elected or certain department, but we kind of turn the other way for another department. And, you know, something that was said a long time ago when I first came into office, like, let's be fair, but are we really being fair? And so that's the question, the reason, what I have, because going back to what Commissioner Uranda said, the way that I was told about it was like, the whole thing fell apart and stuff, and I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Going back to that, ma'am, there was minimal damage on that truck, just the small damage to the tie rod, that's all it was. There was no other damage to the vehicle, and vehicle was taken to Francos to get the wheel alignment done. It was put back in service the same day.
Well, I definitely do appreciate what you do. I don't want you to leave here thinking that I don't appreciate the volunteer work that you do. I do know that things can get hectic out there, and just to be transparent as well, I had no intention of bringing this up now. I did plan to have a conversation, but I had no intention to bring this up right now. Once it got brought up, then I had questions on how much it costed and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't want you to leave here thinking that I'm on city side or county side. At the end of the day, the same way that everybody needs to find a way to work with each other, we need to do so as well.
Yes.
So piggyback off of what the judge just said as well, you as a volunteer fire department too have policies and protocols that you need to follow whether chief wants to agree with it or not. So now you're aware that when an accident does happen, it needs to be reported to the judge's office so that way the proper protocol can be enforced. Because again, we can't pick and choose who we want to favor and who we don't want to favor. But thank you, I do appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, madam.
Ma'am, I do not follow any favoritism. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you right now, in front of y'all, if you want me to resign as the fire chief, I will be more than glad to do it.
Okay,
That
then
way-
do it.
that- No, hold on.
Then do it.
I'll do it right now.
Do it, then do it, right now. Right now, then do
I
it.
will.
Then
And
do
I'm
it.
gonna tell you something. I'm gonna resign this up to date.
Okay.
Not because I did wrong, but because there's a lot of things that I was told this past week on myself, that all the commissioners, or no, well, let me rephrase that most of the elected officials don't want me here. Bottom line, we had that discussion, and that everybody's talking bad about me, and that this is going on. So, for the record, Ms. Claudia, write it down. As of today, as of right now, I'm resigning. Find you another fire chief, and let them do what I did.
And if you want me to be transparent as well, I will say that I did engage in that conversation, but what I
No.
said had nothing to do, don't interrupt me.
No.
What I said had nothing, no, I accept your resignation. I wholeheartedly accept your resignation.
Because
But what I said, but I'm still gonna say
I'm
my piece.
resigning.
What I
And
said
as
was
of right
that
now-
the fire chief's position needs to
Okay?
be
Because they
changed out
seem to
every
say
few
that
years.
I favor people. I don't favor anyone. The one thing I have is I run a strict fire department. And you can tell ask my assistant chief, that I told them, if anybody has leisure time and they open something, I don't want you on my scene. So as of right now,
Judge May.
I'm resigning, and I'll make the paper.
Mr. Carmona, I would
Go
like
ahead.
to know, since it's been put out there that us elected officials are saying that we don't want you in office, I would like to know who told you that, because I
The
have never
judge.
mentioned that. I have
I
never
didn't say
said that.
Yes, we had a meeting.
we had a meeting last
And
week,
you
you
told
and
me
I.
how the elected officials were talking about me.
Who told
The
you?
sheriff
No, you're
department-
lying.
The sheriff, no, ma'am.
Who told you?
You
I
said-
have it recorded.
You
I have
said,
it recorded.
you told me.
No.
No, you told me.
No,
I went to meet
told
with
me-
you last week, I
You told
did.
me that some elected officials didn't want me, they
You're
wanted me.
taking that out of context, Mr.
No,
Carmona,
no,
because I went
Judge.
to go tell you.
Judge,
Yeah, that's what he's telling you. That's not what I told him. Yeah, that's what he's telling you.
Okay, so let me just be
Hold on,
clear.
let me put it for the record. You're taking that out of context.
No.
I went to go visit with you last week, and
Yes.
you know that. And we went to, I visited, and I told you that you're going around telling people
No,
that
ma'am.
I'm saying that I wanna
No,
get
ma'am.
you off. And I
That
told you you
was-
should be
that
worried about other elected
Ma'am,
officials
that
getting you off, not
conversation never
me.
came
That's
to-
what I said.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, so if I can be allowed as well to say my piece, what I never said that Mr. Carmona should or should not be fire chief, because at the same time, yes, Mr. Carmona can be 80% good and 20% bad. There is parts where he falls where he's not.
Anybody does
And
that.
anybody, yes, anybody. So what I said whenever we brought up the conversation was I never said that he could not or should not be fire chief. What I said is that we needed to follow the same protocol that the city did. So every 2-3 years, however it is that the city does it, that the firefighters, the volunteer firefighters should have the ability to vote who they want as fire chief or they don't. That is what I said, and I'm gonna stand 100% behind it to say that that is what I said. I never said, oh, for him to be fire chief, for him not to be fire chief. And one thing about me, if I say it behind your back, I'm gonna say it to your face, so I'm letting you know what I said right now.
There's a lot of backstabbing. This court was never like this until everything changed. Everybody's after each other. This was never like this before.
Are we approving the fire chief's report?
So we're gonna have an emergency meeting?
Meeting, yeah.
At what point?
Yes, ma'am, we will.
I think this got out of hand. It shouldn't have happened what happened right now. I'm just speaking for myself and letting you know, Mr. Carmona, I never mentioned and I never said that I wanted you out. How that came about, I don't know, but it was not me. I don't know what other elected officials it was. but
Commissioner
it was not me.
Noguera.
I'm just letting you all know in record that it was not me.
Commissioner Noguera.
Also, now that we don't have a local agreement with the city, what are we going to do? Are you guys gonna continue assisting the city, or how are we going to do this, Mr. Gonzalez, if there's no local agreement? I don't wanna put anybody in danger, and I know that's why they went out there to help out, but I just wanna make sure now that there's no local agreement with the city.
Well, usually it's not a local agreement, it's a memorandum of understanding
Okay.
that if the city needs the assistance, the county will receive if they're called out. You know, a lot of the bickering has been is that sometimes one department or the other is not called out by the sheriff department, or the sheriff department gets, calls one out without the department at the scene requesting the assistance. So, I've always said that both parties need to work together. If there's a fire where the other department's needed, and there's a call, and we need your assistance, hey, come out.
So we can continue working together.
Correct.
And in the future, it's not in the current memorandum of understanding, and I don't know if that is being revoked in any way, but there should be a clause in there that says that until a new one is implemented, that one would remain in effect, so that the citizens of Rizal Springs and Dimmit County are protected.
So then Mr. Carmona has to remain as fire chief until we find an
No.
Not
alternative,
necessarily, if he remains as fire chief,
until you find a replacement.
Resignation is accepted.
Okay.
He's a holdover official. And then once you call your meeting, and that's up to him whether he's going to perform those duties, it's basically a holdover, just like an elected position would be. And then if he's not answering the calls, the fire chief should take on the responsibilities, but technically, if he's appointed, he's holdover official until this commissioner's court appoints someone new.
Well, Mr. G, right now, I just would like just to resign. That's
Well,
it.
yeah, it still has to be.
Well, I mean, they can become another fire chief, but it's right now.
It's not on the agenda, they need to post an agenda just for that item to accept your
We
resignation.
have it open for,
And
So you really got off track.
No, ma'am, I'm done. I'm done.
So call a special meeting, address that issue, and deal with it at that time.
Motion to approve the report.
thank you, Commissioner Noguera.
I'll second the motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Noguera, second by Commissioner Uranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. 3.15, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Victory Ambulance for the month of February 2025. Mr. Olivares, I apologize, we're gonna go into executive session, the time's 11:41. Yes. Ms. McDaniel, from executive session, the time is 1:07. And we do have an announcement from the executive session. And I will allow Commissioner Carmona to take the floor, excuse me.
Yes, on the comment that I made earlier, it was that I meant to say it was some of the elected officials had made the comment that they wanted me to be removed. Wasn't directly sent to about the county judge. I said that message and probably was misinterpreted at the time, but at no time did I accuse the county judge that it was her. So with that, I'd like to apologize for the miscommunication. Go on forward. As of right now, I am gonna remain the fire chief till I decide what I'm gonna do. Could be next month or the following. I just need to let you all know that Dimmit County will be having a fire chief for the time being. So I'll decide within the next month or so what is my process.
Thank you, Commissioner Carmona, and I also want to put on the record that I want to thank you for being professional and courteous and making sure that the record's clear as to who or what was taken out of context. And I just want to apologize to anyone in the courtroom that may have been offended by comments or arguments that were made before this court. I hope moving forward we can continue to remain respectful of one another, even if we cannot see eye to eye or we do not agree with one another. So on behalf of the Commissioners Court and myself, I do want to let the court know that we will continue to work with one another to make sure that we do what we need to do that's in the best interest of Dimmit County. We are on item 3.15, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Victory Ambulance for the month of February 2025.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Did y'all get the report?
Yes, we did.
And y'all got it with the breakdown of the calls away?
County and city, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So for that month, we had a total of 207 runs. We had 36 medical emergencies, 51 refusals, 49 transfers, 13 helipads, 8 discharges, 22 dialysis runs, 2 doctor's appointments, 2 wound cares, 23 MVAs, and 1 DOA. And so the breakdown from those calls is on emergencies. In the city, we had a total of 61 emergencies, broken down between 34 emergencies, and out of those 34, some of them were, 27 of those were refusals, and mix of emergencies and refusals. And then the same thing for the county, a total of 45 calls and 25 emergencies and 20 refusals.
Questions of Mr. Olivares?
Right now, four out of the 5. I have one that is going to need some pretty good maintenance on it, and we're getting that addressed here with our mechanics. And then we're still running the shifts like we do, the 2 24-hour trucks and the on-call truck.
Well, thank you for providing us that breakdown between city and county. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Any other questions?
And does that work, that breakdown like that, does that work for?
Yes.
for
Yes, it helps.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Urenda,
Second.
second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.16. Thank you, Mr. Olivares.
Around 217.
Discussion and appropriate action, approval for County Judge Marta Ponce, Executive Secretary Mirta Hernandez, Commissioners Jose Urenda, Alonso Carmona, Valerie Julissa Talamantes, and Valerie Rubalcaba to attend a 91st Annual South Texas CJCA Conference, June 2nd through 5th in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Were we gonna remove, the secretary?
That's what you want, I mean,
I submitted a motion to approve to exclude, Mirta Hernandez.
I have let me do Commissioner Carmona's motion really quick. I have Commissioner Carmona's motion to approve as is stated on the agenda. Do I have a second? I have no second. That motion dies. I have a motion on the table for it to be approved to exclude the Executive Secretary, Ms. Hernandez, by Commissioner Talamantes. I have a second by Commissioner Jose Urenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.17, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Commissioners Jose Urenda, Alonso Carmona, and Valerie Rubalcaba to attend the Capital Area Council of Government Wildfire Resilience Summit on April 22nd, 2025.
I'd like to be added to it.
Give me one second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here we are. I don't have, when this agenda item was initially requested, I have just Commissioner Alonso and Commissioner Valerie for the hotel room. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at Flo submitted for you two to go to the conference. Yours wasn't submitted?
Commissioner Talamantes?
Yes, I have for the,
We had those just.
no, I'm talking about for the annual conference. Flo didn't submit one for you? I just have Commissioner Rubalcaba and Carmona.
Do you want me to double check?
Yes.
For who?
For the conference,
For Commissioner who?
Commissioner Talamantes.
Right here?
I know, but I'm talking about,
No, that's.
I got it. The one I have was just Commissioner Rubalcaba and Carlos, but I got this one. Okay. Not my secretary. Commissioner Alonso and Commissioner Rubalcaba for the summit in Austin for the wildfire. You have yours in here too, Commissioner Odena?
It should be in there.
You're still wanting to attend
The what?
to the wildfire one?
If the court's okay with it, yes. If not, I'm okay with that too.
Make a motion. We have Commissioner.
Commissioner Urenda,
And-
Commissioner Alonso, Commissioner Rubalcaba, and to add Commissioner Talamantes. We'll just need
I'll go get them today.
the paperwork for it. And this is where in Austin?
Yes,
And it's the day before?
correct.
So you guys would leave the night before?
Correct.
Are you gonna give me a ride, Commissioner Carmona?
I'm sorry?
Were you gonna give me a ride?
All right?
A ride over there to Austin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are you gonna attend any?
I'm gonna add myself on there, but I don't know if I'm gonna go or not, because I don't know if I'll be able to help them fight fires.
So you want to set motion to add, or you're
Yes.
gonna, motion to add, Judge, Bolton?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.18, discussion of monthly report from county commissioners for the month of February 2025. We'll start with Commissioner Odena, Precinct 1.
Basically, Judge, we've been performing our regular maintenance on our county roads, mowing and litter pickup. Castellan and Brown Road are the ones that have been taking the most, that have been showing the most activity. We've got construction, Texas got construction off of 186. And some of these trucks are diverting along Brown Road to avoid the construction zone. So those roads, these two particular roads have been very active, and we've been having to invest more time out there as far as litter pickup and lading the roads to keep them up to par.
There is a comment on one of your reports that says reconstruction required for Valley Street. What does that pertain to?
Valley Street, since about 3 years ago, I've had a concern with Valley Street. It's probably one of the worst road in Precinct 1. However, Valley Street, half of that street sits in city property, and the other half is county property. At the intersection of 21st Street and Valley Street is where the division of the city and the county takes place. We, at the time, 2 years ago, we had plans of refurbishing that road. However, the city has some shallow gas and water lines that if we were to go in there and try to scarify 8 inches of it, we would encounter all those lines and damage them. So there was negotiations back then where the city was trying to obtain funds to replace all those lines because there's constant leaks out there. So with that said, if the county was to invest $1 million on that road and we had leaks every other week, it would truly defeat the purpose of the investment. That's the holdup on that road.
Is this the one that we tried last time before the previous administration were not used to having issues with it?
That's correct.
That was Valley Street?
It's Valley Street. Other questions of Commissioner Urena?
Motion to approve? Or we're doing all of
No,
them
we
together?
have Commissioner Precinct 2, Mr. Carmona.
Judge, as I had advised you on that sinkhole we had on County Road 101, we replaced the whole culvert on it. So it's back to operating good. However, we're probably gonna do a concrete wall so that the soil won't be carried away by if we ever get rain or floods. So it'll create the same problem. It's been close to 36 years since that culvert was there, so we're hoping it'll last another 50 years or more. So it's done already. We used, in 1980, we used 26 loads of red material, which has got us pretty well done. We needed a section, and that's where we're at right now. All the roads seem to be good. However, going back to 101, we're gonna buy a tote of the asphalt, so we can repack it since the road was chip and seal. So we won't have any moisture going underneath the sealant and the ground, and it makes the road worse. So we're getting quotes to get that, the tote of asphalt. We don't need that much. And that's where we're at, Judge.
Any questions of Commissioner Carmona? We have Commissioner's report for Precinct 3 and 6.
We've been doing good as well. We have still working on bringing material in. We run into a lot of mechanical issues on some of the trucks and stuff like that, so it has delayed us a little bit, but for the most part, I think that we are making progress. So hopefully by next month, we would have all of that material secured, and then we'll be able to start working and improving some of our county roads.
Any questions of precinct 3 and 6? Precinct 4, did you submit something, Commissioner?
Yes, it's in the bottom.
I see it, after this one. Precinct 4, 5, and 7 report.
Judge, they're working on Windsor Hill. I know Betty's Lane had 10 loads of limestone, 3 are wrap material. The other roads we're doing asphalt. And I'll give it Commissioner Talamantes so we can start working with the asphalt on the 3 roads that we're going to do.
There at Rams Road, the new culvert, is that where, in the big, like when they first, there's like a little bridge thing there?
That one needs to be replaced.
Any questions of 4, 5, and 7? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.19, discussion and appropriate action, approval to service repair projector at the Dimmit County Conference Center, Precinct 1.
Judge, how you can make these? This was kind of a joint effort between me and Commissioner Urenda. For that, I'll let Javi kind of get into a little bit of detail on what's going on with the projector and the microphones at the arena. Good afternoon, Javi.
Good afternoon. So the projector and really it's the entire AV system there at the arena has been glitching out a lot lately. I'm sure some of you have witnessed it yourselves. Every time we try to input a command to the little wall plate, it will freeze for a bit, and then if you try to do it again real quick, it will just add on and add on and add on. I called the company to try to see if there was any troubleshooting steps that we could take, but since the technology is quite outdated, they recommended that they come down and troubleshoot themselves.
And the agenda item was submitted by Commissioner Urenda since it is his department. So we're gonna get it troubleshooted first before considering, correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Urenda, replacing.
Right, the troubleshooting's approximately $1,400 to come down and do an assessment of what the issue is with that machine. So we first have to know if it's something minor or major, we need to replace it. But that's the direction we have to head first.
How much does a projector cost?
The projectors themselves are fine. I think it's more so the controller or the system itself.
But she asked how much does a new one cost? You don't know?
I think it was
Commissioner Noguera, would you know how much a projector
I
costs?
know it was pricey because when we used the arena for Mr. Cruz's bingo, Mr. Castaneda was there having trouble, and he tried it, and Mr. Mendez helped him out to troubleshoot it and whatnot, and he said it was expensive to replace it too, but you kind of suggested, because I'm not too sure if we charge whenever we rent it to use the projector and mic. It's costly, so I don't know if we need to come back and revisit the process of what we charge for the rental on it, because there's no rental fee for it. We have to eat that cost when it doesn't work. Or Mr. Renda or Commissioner Thomas, they have to eat that cost. And it's pricey.
So you're right now asking for it to be approved to troubleshoot.
Correct.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Noguera, second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Castaneda. I'm going to go back to 3.18. I need a motion to approve the report for the commissioners. Motion by Commissioner Noguera, second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.20, discussion and appropriate action, approval to purchase 8 2025 Kohler golf carts, precinct 1, excuse me.
Judge, these golf carts, of course, are for the golf course. We're trying to add to the fleet. We're at 19 carts at this time. And we've established a pattern where we're running out of carts and we have individuals waiting on carts. So some of them have been willing to wait. Some of them just probably don't have the time and leave. With the numbers reflecting off of what the golf course has been doing, just to give you an example, this weekend, the golf course brought in almost $2,000 in one day. These carts are basically, they pay for themselves, and I would, if approved, I'd be using CO money to purchase, just like I did the last set of 19 carts. I believe there's a request for 8 carts on this particular item.
Mr. Mendez, is this company by board?
They're by one. It's the same company. We're going to use the same company that we used on the previous purchase. Since we've had good results with a maintenance program and a warranty, they're pretty good about it. It's in Berkeley. It's out of Berkeley, Texas.
So what's the price? I know it's 60,000, that's the official price for the 8 carts?
Correct.
And
There should be a
7,500 per unit.
per unit.
okay, that's what I was asking, thank you.
You're not gonna get rid of any from the 19, right?
Get rid of what?
You're not gonna get rid of any of the 19 that you already currently have? They're all good and working?
No, they're still working extremely well. I think we purchased those, what was it, Mr. Pereira, about 2 years ago, more or less? So they get maintained on a regular basis and of course clean and washed on every 3 days.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba, a second by Commissioner Talamantes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.21, discussion and appropriate action, accept reimbursement check from Texas A&M Forest Service for the amount of $20,000.
Oh, Judge, that's the $20,000 that Texas Forest Service reimbursed us when we applied for the reimbursement for the skid unit. So they did send the check back. We had to pay it first out of our pocket. We only paid $7,000. We met their match and we got the $20,000 back.
Motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Talamantes, second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.23, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Blue Bond and Fiber to apply for USDA grant for rural broadband internet service in Big Wells Precinct 3.
Judge, I was contacted for a grant opportunity for Big Wells.
Just real quick, Commissioner, before I forget, is this the same thing that you're trying to do?
Is it in here? Selena's been working on basically thinking, but through a different route. The one we were trying to do is coming in on the rate.
I know, but my question is this going to affect?
I don't know, that's why I treated Selena, she's been the one following up on all that.
Well, it's not her agenda item, so she wouldn't know to be here. Go ahead, sir.
I'll gladly stick around to speak with Selena to confirm that there is a conflict, but if I believe the opportunity that you're looking at is being related, is that correct?
Because of it's both being fiber optic, the company we met with was, the proposal was to bring in fiber optic out from Laredo into Dimmit County. Of course, it would hit Catarina, Ashton, and then Carino. And we went, Selena, our grant writer, started on the process of applying for a grant for this particular project. The only thing that is the same is that it's full fiber optic. It's just two very different projects, two different contractors, two different projects.
At first brush, I don't think it would conflict, just because the opportunity that we're working on here is looking at the individual community and the unserved households directly. It's not necessarily looking at, is there other fiber optic middle mile? It sounds like you're working on a middle mile opportunity. Ours is purely last mile.
Yours is purely what, sir?
Last mile. So we are worried about connecting.
Purely what? I'm sorry, I can't.
Last mile.
Can you pick that up, Javier? Because I can't hear what he's saying.
Here, I got it. There you go. It's purely last mile. I guess.
Is it on?
Can you hear me?
Kind of, but it sounds a little bit low. Tap it for me, please.
Can you hear me now? No. Does it sound like the Verizon guy?
Can you put it closer to the
Yeah, it
system?
just, it doesn't, it just, you can't hear it that good.
Yeah, you can just speak a little bit closer to it so the judge can hear you.
We'll do it. If you give me just a moment, Chris just passed out color copies of the slides that were emailed to you all earlier. I'm going to have it up on the screen as well. I want to just introduce myself, introduce the company, and then introduce the opportunity that we are working on. So I am Wyatt Simperlick. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Walnut Fire. I'm a second-generation farmer born out of the Rio Grande Valley. This company was born out of a need to connect the farm that I lived on and the farms around us to broadband. Unfortunately, our farm had wound up operations, and I have since, been moved around the state, working in different IT outsourcing and telecommunications companies throughout the years. But Blue Bonnet Fiber persisted, and that's where I'm working at full-time today with myself, Chris, and a few other employees. Today, we are currently 100% USDA funded. We have a cooperative agreement with them to work on 13 counties. Unfortunately, Dimmit is not part of that contracted opportunity. However, we still look at Dimmit as an area that needs to be served. And that's what I'd like to talk to you all today about Community Connect. Any questions for me before I continue?
No, I think I'm good. I think they're just reviewing it. But just, if you could, please just speak a little bit on top of the mic if you need to.
There we go.
Yes.
Better now?
Yes, yes, way better.
Cool. I just didn't want to put the mic in my mouth. So we are looking at going towards Community Connect to establish a new last mile fiber route that covers Texas 85 coming out of Carrizo Springs and serving the public until it leaves the county line. If you notice, there's a section of line that goes beyond the county into that continues on to 35. That is so that we have redundant access from 35 and from AT&T here in town. Our goal is resiliency, especially with there being roughly 1,000 households and businesses along this route. The red line that is there on slide 2 represents the main route that we intend to bury. This does not showcase the individual distribution strands that actually make it each house. Everything originates from this red line and spreads outwards. But our plan is to reach every home where their driveway comes up on these roads. Any questions?
So you're going to be pulling in service from the Dilly area and then going to pull in service from Carrizo, but your main focus point is Big Wells.
Correct. So Big Wells is the center of this target area, but our goal is to hit every home that is accessible along that red line.
Why is Big Wells a prime candidate for this grant opportunity?
So Big Wells is currently unserved completely. There are some mobile fixed wireless companies that are out there that are not considered a viable permanent service under the federal standards. You do have AT&T DSL service, but it does not meet the definition of broadband. It does have other census factors that make this a priority area for the USDA, one of those being what's called FAR Level 4. Effectively, it is the city's statistical access to services such as broadband, medical. it scores as one of the most in the nation, and I believe it's actually one of 4 areas in South Texas designated as a FAR Level 4 area. It is also considered an above average poverty and social vulnerability index area. So for us, it's high priority, and for the USDA, it's the high priority.
I have a question.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just to let you know, this is our grants writer, Selena.
Who's gonna pay the 2%?
So there is a 15% matching, which Bluebonnet will be taking on directly. And I guess I'm skipping ahead to one of the other slides.
I was just reading the.
Yeah, you're good. So Community Connect has to be applied for by Bluebonnet Fiber, as will be the infrastructure operator. With that, the matching responsibility comes back to us as well. We will be working to secure that privately. So there is no direct cost to the county. We are just looking to form a strong partnership because the grant opportunity does look for us to provide benefits to the community and to the county as part of this. And I guess I'm gonna
Give me
skip around.
a quick second, why Selena would like to add.
Yes, so Mr. Ureta did propose this a couple of months ago, and they did state, when I had to reach out to the grant people, they did state that the county can't apply for it. It has to be a fiber optic company that does apply for it, and then the county would just pretty much piggyback off of it. Yes. Yes.
So then it was the same as Urenda, but the county can't apply, so this is the route to go.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's essentially the same thing, you and Commissioner, what they're doing, what Commissioner Orella's doing is the same thing?
Yes, so that's why we had to go forth with it, because the fiber optic company needed to be the one that initiated it, and then we would just piggyback off.
So then we don't need to approve anything for them either though, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, technically,
So we do need your all's direct support.
yes.
Say the letter of support or what?
Yes, a letter of support, but also there are other functions in this grant opportunity that we are allowed to add in that I would like to maximize just because it's wasted. One of those being we are expected to contribute to a community center, 2 to 10 computers for public use. We are expected to provide free broadband services to county, things that are designated as an anchor facility, which will be the bulk of county facilities along this route. Those are the 2 direct benefits that the USDA allows us to include in here. Of course, you do have the other indirect benefits, such as economic development. Also, kind of slipped in here, and this is definitely, sorry, by the way, I'm an engineer. I am definitely, this is the first time that I'm before a court like this, so I am doing this. Sorry
You are
about
doing
this.
great.
One of the other big things that I want to impress upon is this is going to be our principal flagship area. We are intending to make full service 25 gig connectivity available to the public. And while no one may necessarily want it or need it, I personally could never use that. It is there, it's a strong marketing term that attracts businesses and attracts new developments. We expect just about everyone to be interested in big symmetric service. We are planning on being able to price this below what folks in town may see. Usually big symmetric in downtown San Antonio is 75 a home. We're trying to get it down to 65 a home.
And this is just for the area of the east edge of Carrizo that goes to Big Wells.
Correct. So we're still in an HLD engineering phase with the available budget. We believe we can get right to the edge of Carrizo Hill. We can make it by junior high and middle school that's there, cover the airport, the arena, all the other county facilities that are there at that corner, and then continue down all the way through to Brundage, Big Wells, and we do have a surprising number of homes kind of in this stretch. I'm showing it on this TV right in here, so we are extending the branch down that way. Yes, if I had my engineering computer with me, I could actually show you the top level data of each structure within the county that's leading these designs. Covered a lot. Any questions?
So just to be sure, then he's saying that the county would be able to, you said that the county would be able to have the internet free for 2 years, so that would include any areas that we have within that stretch. So it includes the arena, the sports complex, all that. You would be able to have Wi-Fi at the golf course, all that. And then after the 2-year term, then we would pay the $35 for internet service in those areas, or $65.
So 65, the reduced, I guess this is another topic. Sorry, we kind of broke up the orders.
Yes, no, it's okay.
Blue Line Fiber is working on self-funding a low-income program. We saw the great success that the FCC had with the Affordable Connectivity Program, and while we're very disheartened that that program went away, it was a very powerful resource. And so we are planning on independently offering that same benefit to encourage uptake rates within the service area. So households who are on SNAP, who are on other state assistance programs, households that are, I believe we're currently at 150% of federal poverty guidelines, will be eligible for reduced cost services. That is not something that we get reimbursed by the federal government. That is something that we do to give back to the community.
So anybody that gets government assistance is going to be able to get internet for at a reduced price.
Exactly, and it's something extra that we do because, again, to date, we are currently 100% fully funded. We do not have shareholders, we do not have outside stakeholders. This is a mother and son family business. We've been around for about 10 years, and we're just trying to get out of the engineering phase and into the serving the public phase.
So Selena, it was a lot that Commissioner, it's exactly what Commissioner Uranda brought to you. You were just missing this piece, which was the engineering part, because they have to apply.
Yes, they would have to apply.
Okay, we would just help them. And you would be willing to work with him to
yes,
make
of
sure
course.
that everything is to the county standard?
Yes.
What's gonna bring it in?
No, but he's saying that this was for the whole county.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are limited on only being able to touch the unserved areas with the budget that we have available. The budget for this opportunity, I believe the ceiling is $5 million. With that, you can only go so far, especially with the average cost of construction per foot. Now, something that we do differently is our construction capability is in-house. We do partner with a nonprofit that helps us employ persons with disabilities, veterans, in-house with us using our equipment. So it isn't like we're trucking in folks from, say, Mears out of Austin or San Antonio. We are looking to be as local as possible for the construction phase of this.
And when is the deadline to apply for this grant?
The deadline is 4/21.
4/21, so then we can't wait any longer on this one. Okay, I know the judge is saying right now, I do know, and we talked about this, Judge, the reason that Bickles is the prime candidate for it is because it's underserved, so there's no fiber in Bickles, what makes it easier for them to transfer that fiber coming down to Carrizo. So there is still going to be an opportunity for that fiber to come in through all of Dimmit County.
I'm just trying to figure out what the difference,
There's no difference.
the difference in Commissioner Uranda's and yours. That's the only thing I was asking. It
does.
doesn't matter to me where it covers. I was just curious because I'm just trying to figure out.
So coverage-wise, we are stopping, using the laser pointer feature, we are pretty much stopping at Main Street here in Carrizo Springs because we are required by the USDA to have a contiguous service area. So I can't stop and then ignore Carrizo.
So essentially what you're asking of us today is not necessarily to approve for you to apply. You're asking us for a letter, correct, for a letter of support to
Correct.
justify for you guys to apply for the grant, is what you're asking, pretty much. Other questions?
I wouldn't mind also working with Commissioner Uranda on it as well and looping him in since he probably does have some information on it since he was the first to bring it to court.
But it's different vendors, right?
Well, you
It's
can't, the
different.
county can apply for it, is what Selena's saying.
No,
That's
we're not
why-
applying for this one either though, Commissioner.
No, that's what
We're
I'm
not
saying.
applying for it.
That's why she said that, that's why Commissioner Uranda didn't go through because the county couldn't apply for the grant, you needed the.
No, you were gonna get more information, right? Because we didn't know what it was about.
Oh, okay.
This one, we're not applying for it either.
No, it's them
We're,
that's gonna.
they're applying for it. So all he's asking for from us is a letter of support.
Yes.
And
So I'm thinking the one that Mr. Uranda is, they can also be, it's somewhat similar, but you would have different fiber optic companies and they would put out bids And whichever ones the county wants to go for, then we go off that.
Yes.
But we can't apply for, the county alone can't apply for it, it has to be by law.
And we've never had another company come through Commissioner's Court to try to apply for us? This is the first time?
We haven't encountered any other companies to try to provide the fiber.
Yes, but whenever we were in Commissioner's Court, we did have some that reached out, and I had to address it to them and direct it to the people that informed me that the county couldn't apply, they would have to apply for it on their behalf. So whoever did reach out, I did inform them that they would be happy to be the ones.
And do we know if anybody's trying to apply on our behalf?
No.
No, so this is,
I mind if I say something real quick?
nice.
Part of that is, we're trying to do it the right way by coming to you guys and asking for a letter of support. A lot of these ISPs are internet service companies, they just do it. But we want your support, that we know exactly who we are and what we can do to support the community. And I think that's, to me, it's more of like a relationship, because as we build with you guys, then we can start looking at different counties, different cities, and then grow from those areas. So I think it's a partnership, the letter of support that we're looking for.
Have y'all done this with any other county or?
It will be our principal service area.
We're
We're the first ones.
The company we were, Selena and I were speaking to, they have just performed this in Zapata County.
I can send you that information as well.
I do have a pretty good finger to the pulse as to the different fiber
I know, I wanted to,
Sorry.
he's saying great, because he's from the same. Go ahead, sorry, sir.
I do have kind of a finger to the pulse on the different fiber optic opportunities that are, well, internet service in general opportunities. I am actually part of the telecom task force with the comptroller's office. I've been part of the South Texas Regional Working Group, again with the comptroller's office, managing bringing online opportunities to Texas, the broadband equity. My acronym, everyone loves their acronyms. Right now, the BEAD opportunity is going to be end of the year. Sub-grantee selection process doesn't start for another 2 or 3 months. This is the USDA's Community Connect. This is now. USDA does also have what's called Reconnect, which we have been evaluating pretty much the district area for some time. But this is specific to Community Connect. This is our opportunity right now. And if we do apply and are selected, we expect to get notification awards in September. And we will be able to start construction in December. Based on the footage in the area, so far we've completed title design work for nearly 500,000 feet. We're expecting this to take us 16 months to be finished and have everyone who's in scope connected by April of 2027.
I apologize, Commissioner Carmona. I was answering Commissioner Lucana. She asked me that if we were going to go through the city of Pickles as well. And I did inform her that after we got through Commissioner's Court, we were also going to ask them to present it through the city of Pickles, just so that they're also in the loop of the opportunity that's up for grabs for the area. So it's not going to just come through the county, but it does give the county the opportunity to serve the sports complex, the arena, the golf course, anything that we have in that path, to be able to have internet at the $65 and free for 2 years, which I think is a big cut from what we're probably paying right now. If we get the grant, it's still in the process of if it's granted to us or not.
I do want to provide one bit of clarification. The USDA does say that we must provide service to you all free of charge at the maximum available speed for 2 years. So you will be getting essentially the top of the line service for those locations. Now,
I have a question since you say that.
yeah,
The fine print. You're saying that you must provide at the max, which is a 25 gigabytes. So does that put us on the hook once the 2 years is off? Because that would be $450 a month.
we do not require a contract. So our and I guess that is pretty much our I'm realizing how hard that is to read. That is pretty much our service offering there. We do not require an extended term contract. This is our mass market services lineup, which means you can call, you can order, you can get it installed, and if you decide you don't like it, you can get it disconnected the next month. That is what we are offering to everybody. Now, there are enterprise circuits, there are what's called DIA circuits, there are private point-to-point circuits, and that may be more in line with what the county is receiving today. Those are not considered mass market services, and those are built to order. So if the county says in 2 years from now, hey, I really like this service, but this is serving the sheriff's department, we really got to have a DIA service with an SLA, we got to be able to have someone out here within 4 hours in case something breaks. That is a different offering that the right way to do it would be for that to go out to RFP. We would not, I could not in good conscience say that this would have to be done through the USDA free service opportunity.
And the 1G, so it's 1, 5, 10, and 25. Is the 1 still pretty fast?
Yes. Now, the 1 is, if you look at market data for any of the larger cities, 1 is the most common higher speed service that gets purchased by the general public. You do have folks like Spectrum, where off promotion, they'll offer a 1 gig down by 100 meg up service for about $130 a month. But our closest that we compare ourselves to is Google Fiber, where they offer a near identical service for $75 a month. Really, the key difference between us and other folks that are in the market is how we build our infrastructure. What $5 million does for us will usually only do about I'm phrasing that backwards. Someone like Google Fiber or Spectrum with $5 million, they will only be able to do a quarter of what we're able to do, mainly because we in-house our construction. It's not outsourced to some contractor that does their markup and then sends it to another subcontractor that does their markup, that doesn't care when they drive a plow straight through gas lines or things like that.
And so y'all guys are going to be the one actually doing the work as well, and drilling the hose and laying the fiber?
Exactly. The only time that we outsource is if it is an infrequent thing. So we keep everything buried. Reason being is that's safe for the public. It has a 30-year refresh cycle with a 100-year service life.
Mr. Wyatt, and where exactly is this going to be? Is it going to be like on county property or?
So we will be, for the bulk of this, it will be in TxDOT's right away. So Texas 85, where it is maintained by TxDOT, we will be receiving permits from TxDOT. Thank you, that's where I wanted to go to next. There are county roads where we will need to secure utility right-of-way permits from you all. And then, of course, we have similar considerations for both cities. We do have the city of San Antonio gave us their standardized agreement, and we would come to the table with that so that you know kind of a good comparative basis, and we can negotiate from there as to how we want to secure the rights to go down different alleyways or the right of way.
So the state highways and part of my
Precisely.
from
And-
where that's right?
Correct.
That's all state,
Yeah.
state highway 85 from Diddy?
I believe this road right here is the only county road that, I don't remember the road number right off the top of my head.
Where's that at?
I hate to say it, I don't have my engineering maps on me at the moment.
Is that Dilly right there on the top?
So Dilly is up here.
Okay, so you're going to pass through Big Wells for probably.
Yeah, so Big Wells is right here, and that's where we.
No, that road that you just looked at is FM 468.
Yes.
All that red is state roads.
Okay.
That's a farm to market road to 1019. Yeah, 1019.
So
At the very bottom, maybe right below there,
that section there.
I think you're looking at 1558, and then it turns into, county road, I think.
Yeah.
There's a piece of 1558 that goes to TxDOT, then it stops, and then it becomes their road, a county road.
Yeah. Now, I will want to point this out. This is showing the arterial routes. It does not show the distribution routes, and those distribution routes are almost guaranteed to go onto city and county right-of-ways. So we do need to establish a standard practice. It should, if everything's a perfect world and we're following the state utility handbook, we should end up going through the same permit processing that the water district.
And I know I also asked, I know the areas you're saying county roads and TxDOT highway. One of the questions that I had, especially because, well, they're gonna lay it in big wells, is how invasive is laying the fiber. And I'll let them explain a little bit better, but it's pretty, they're not gonna disturb a lot of ground because they basically shoot a rod at the depth that it's supposed to be and then run the fiber that way. But I can let, if anybody wants him to explain, he can better explain that to you.
It's kind of like being bored out.
Yes, so we primarily use horizontal directional drilling for anything that is in a semi-urban area or if there's an obstruction that we need to avoid. For the long open stretches of the road, we use a vibratory plow so that we're not doing open pit trenching that someone's liable to twist their ankle. Those are the only two construction methods that we are currently planning to use for this area. Of course, there may be a couple of sections where we cross rivers where we transition to aerial just to get over the river and not to take off the Army Corps of Engineers. We're currently discussing things with them, and tentatively they think they may be okay with just letting us bore under the river if we can get deep enough. But all in all, no open pit trenching. We are not adding more clutter to your all's poles in town. Our default burial depth along state highways, anything that's regulated by TxDOT, is 42 inches. If we're within any, culvert or other water feature, we add 12 inches to that. That is our minimum depth of cover. Our materials and our equipment are capable of going down to 25 feet deep if we're having to go underneath the highway and we're worried about someone driving over with an 80,000-pound battery. Oh, I do want to mention two things. With directional drilling, there's usually quite a bit of water that is used. I do want to verify that we actually do leverage a mobile recycling plant, so we will not be a heavy tax on purchasing water from the land. Our expected burn rate is 750 gallons a week per drill crew, and we're expecting to probably have 2 or 3 drilling crews deployed for the area. Of course, compared to a normal crew, they're usually going through 500 to 1,000 gallons a day. I realize I bounced through this slide deck quite a bit and may not have completely canvassed everything.
You have any more questions, Jeff?
Just the ones I asked.
So I guess I do want to throw something out just so that I didn't get a good opportunity to talk to timeline. As was mentioned earlier, 4/21 is our due date to have our high-level design, to have any letters of support, to have any agreements that may be put in place for right-of-way access into an application packet and submitted. The USDA is expected to go into a public comment period with this and do full feasibility reviews, with awards expected in mid-September of this year. Once we receive an award notification, of course, everyone will know about it. We will begin hiring, we will begin training, and we are hoping to break earth in late December, probably, just before Christmas. With that, we would start our construction operation in multiple points. We would start with the distribution drilling in big wells, and we would start with our middle mile plow-in pretty much from Dilley and working our way to big wells. And so the hope is that we connect the first people hopefully in March. with a total project completion in April of 2027.
Thank you. And Selena did the research and the county, did it include vehicles?
No.
So it was just nitrogen and anything else?
Yeah, this one was coming in through Laredo, so it would hit Catarina, Ashton, and then come into Paliza. But mainly to service that as a whole.
I guess I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring Ashton, by the way.
No, because they had already started a process or they were looking into it, but it was coming from Laredo, so I just wanted to make sure they were included, like, well, so why it's two different ones, the same.
So, segueing into that a little bit, I wanted to let you know that currently the FCC sees Asherton as fully served, with households receiving gigabit by 20 through spectrum. Because of that, we're not able to actually go down into Asherton. We will be stopping short of Asherton's for the households that are unserved there and leave it open to future expansion in the area to add competition that hopefully provide better pricing to the residents there. And the same thing exists for Carrizo Springs proper. We're stopping just short because that does, with all of this, anything that is on that red line there is a backbone line, which means that we could do terabits upon terabits of data to that area to support new businesses coming in, a new enterprise coming in. All of that maintains possibilities with this. And so we are not just here to build out and then stop where we stop in this project. We will be able to continue expanding.
So just for grant purposes, you're saying that Bagels is a prime candidate because we're underserved, but not saying that you're going to exclude Asherton, Carrizo Hill, or anybody else. You're just, with the amount of grant money that you're receiving, it makes Bagels a prime candidate because we are underserved. So it's a better opportunity to secure that grant.
Exactly. The USDA sees this as for the most in need.
Most in need.
When BEAD comes around, we will have an opportunity to continue to get other households in the county that have been served.
Does anybody have any more questions? Okay, well then I motion to approve, to apply for the grant.
But we're not motioning, there's no action.
Well, isn't it for the letter to approve?
No, we can just give them a letter of
So
support.
we don't have to have it before?
No, because the way it's written here is to approve for us to apply for the grant, and we don't apply for the grant. They apply for the grant.
So then can we give them the letter of support?
I don't have a problem giving them a letter of support.
When's the deadline that you need the letter of support?
Sooner the better. I have to have it as part of the submission package.
And the deadline was at April what?
April 21st is our hard deadline. I would love to have it here in the next week or two.
Okay. Is that doable, Judge?
What did you say, what date?
I have until April 21st to get the complete packet with the engineering data submitted. I would love to have it in the next week or two so that we can continue to build our application around the letter of support.
Can I contact Mr. Flores
Yes.
for a go-by?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll give my card as well.
Do you mind if I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So regarding to BEAD is another program that's offered through the federal government that's awarded to Texas. There's billions of dollars in this. So the fact that you guys are already aware of it, that just shows that you've been looking at the grants, which is really good. We are going to participate in that. So the problem with that is you're also going to have all the AT&Ts of the world, all these bigger companies come in and participate in it as well. We're small compared to those guys, but we're still going to go after those. So not to say we couldn't serve all the other districts, we can. And we will go after this money that's out there. But my hope was to come in here with USDA funds now and say, hey, we got $5 million to throw at big wells. Consider us when the BEAD money comes out so we can work with all of you guys. So I just want to throw that in there. So,
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Thank
if
you,
you want
Mr.
to
Wyatt.
get contact information with Selena, so that way she can just stay in the loop, and I'm pretty sure she'll get great assistance.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, I
Thank you all
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you. 3.24, discussion and appropriate action requesting to remove 2011 Chevy Tahoe, VIN number 8185 from Road and Bridge 3 inventory submitted to surplus.
but it's still on my inventory list. From what I understand, from what they said from the Chevy Tahoe, was that the sheriff's office used to have the Chevy Tahoe. I don't know exactly what happened to it, what broke, or what it is that's wrong with it. But they said that it wasn't any good.
Is it the IT, the black Tahoe?
Yes.
Was it ignition?
It was ignition? Oh, okay. So, the engine? Okay, so yeah, so just to submit it to surplus, so that way you can get off of my inventory list, and just to show that it's not in use in my department.
Where's Mr. Pereira? So you're saying that it's not on surplus right now?
No, it's not in surplus, it's just parked at the Metro, but it's not in use and it hasn't been in use, but I don't want to be incorrect with the time frame of how long it hasn't been in use. But yes, I just know that they parked it.
It hasn't been in use since it started working.
Which is like how long?
The engine or the ignition?
The engine.
The
I
engine?
corrected myself when I said the engine.
Since last May?
It was brought up to Mr. Carmona's attention.
And he just bought a new vehicle.
Oh, and
You know, so can it be fixed?
I don't know the parts, but we didn't move forward on it because that's what we thought we talked.
she's asking for the Tahoe that's parked at Metro to be removed from her inventory because when she got sworn into office, it's part of her inventory, but she's never had any physical possession of, she's never been in possession of it. So she's asking for it to be removed from her inventory and submitted to surplus.
Okay. Yeah, and I was gonna mention, because I just forgot, to go back at the next meeting and declare whatever needs to be done surplus and added everything in there, so.
Again?
Well.
We've done that like, what, 5 times already?
What's the latest with the
Well,
option?
oh, and that's another thing. Because I needed, the company that we were working with really hasn't helped us any, and so we either need to do it as do a actual option with the.
Do we need to have an action item
With
on
the
this one,
deputies.
Mr.
With the sheriff.
Mr. Pereira, for Commissioner Talamantes, does it need to be an action item, or are you gonna just remove it from her inventory?
We'll remove it, but
I already did the paperwork,
yeah, we
Virginia.
have paperwork.
Yeah,
Yes.
Virginia
So
just
that,
asked
it
me.
doesn't have to be an action item then?
No, it's just,
That's what
it's
it's
gonna be
done.
moved, but
I just don't know if the vehicle is fixable, if it's not fixable. I mean, I don't have any use for it, so if any of the other commissioners want it, or the judge wants it for whatever, you can take it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't
yeah, because it'll
We're
be
just
put
gonna-
on the
We're
surplus
just gonna
list
put it on the surplus for
if
right now.
nobody wants it.
Okay, thank you. 3, no action, Commissioner Lugo. 3.25, discussion and appropriate action requesting landfill to dig a hole to accept brush and ribbon cutting ceremony.
Judge, I had put this on the agenda because, as y'all guys know, we had the meeting with the city, and we weren't able to come to a conclusion on the interlocal agreement, which takes us away from being able to dispose of brush at the city field. So I wanted to put on to accept brush at our landfill, and the ribbon cutting was just to show the public that the county has opened the landfill. It's up for discussion.
I know the ribbon cutting, we didn't do a ribbon cutting because it's not open to the public. That's why I had stated, when I spoke to the judge last year, I said, we don't need to do a ribbon cutting because it's only open for county household trash. And the landfill, the whole, we have a type 1 landfill. And I had done the research, if we get brush in there, we need to cut the grinder. I know I have a mulcher, we have a mulcher, and Commissioner Amanda has a mulcher, Commissioner Alonso doesn't have one. In order for us to grind, to wash the brush, the machine is $569,887. We do want to start taking brush into our landfill to get it grind.
I think, obviously, we can discuss that right now, but just to address your statement, Commissioner Okawa, regarding the ribbon cutting, I think as a matter of, for the purposes of the county, I understand where you're coming from, that it's not open like that for the public like the city one is. But I think just as a matter of transparency and a matter of the community knowing that the taxpayers' money built this, this landfill, I think it's good for us to have a ribbon cutting so that the community can see what we're doing, what your office is doing, what your department is doing. And also I think to educate our constituents that it's not necessarily a landfill. I know that, as Commissioner Talamantes mentioned when we had the meeting with the city last week, that was something that they brought up. Why haven't y'all done a ribbon cutting? Nobody knows that it's open, and of course it's open, but it's not open to the public in that sense.
That's why I hadn't done a ribbon cutting, because I don't want the constituents to think that it's open to the public, that anybody can go throw brush there, because it's for residential, county residential use, so far. And I know on the brush, I wasn't there at the meeting, and I spoken to Commissioner Talamantes, and they were stating that they needed a place or why we weren't throwing brush there.
They did ask that. So just real quick, Commissioner, I can get with you, so then I can get with the court on a date that's good for you for ribbon cutting, so we can have a formal ribbon cutting.
If you guys want to have it, I don't see it.
I think we should.
Just to let them know, I mean, we need to let the public know that it's not open for public.
So like if somebody in Beckles wants to go drop off there, are they allowed to go drop off?
No.
No, it's just the town.
No, it's just the county road and bridge goes and picks up.
My understanding and reading through the contract, because I wasn't part of the commissioners when the contract was laid, the landfill was established to divert the cost of the county spending on tipping fees to transport all the trash that the sanitation department was transporting to the Eagle Pass, at times to Ranger Springs. So
We're spending $250,000 to $300,000.
Right.
So what's the solution that you were talking about at the meeting in
speaking
Carrizo?
to the engineer that actually worked on this project,
Oh, Mr. Hill.
he
told you
explained to
he
me that there's approximately 160 acres of land that the county acquired. Out of those 160 acres, his understanding is that he's getting me all the paperwork so that we can all see what's on there. 80 acres are specified under TCEQ permit as landfill. The rest of it is not. So the rest of the property is not considered a landfill. It can be a misconception because you drive through there and there's a gate, and we can all think that the whole thing is a landfill, but it's not. Only 80 acres. Therefore, the rest of the property, it's up to the county commission's court whether you want to dig a pit, whether you want to clear it, whatever the county decides, whether you want to build a shooting range, whatever the county decides they want to do, they can, because it's not under the TCEQ permit.
So is that why you said that we could dig a hole to Carrizo?
That was one of the,
What's fenced in is the 80 acres. The other section towards the back, towards the back has a different fence, I'm sorry. That one is the 100 acres.
right, and actually, towards the back, there's already some excavated pits because the previous owner was removing material for road construction. So there's already actually pits towards the back end of it. And my understanding is the previous administration, so to speak, were already transporting brush in there.
Oh, okay.
And had developed an area for brush, and it stopped when the construction of the landfill
When the
started.
construction started, before
I
we opened, we had to cover all those pits, not for the
gravel.
The gravel. That one, no, it doesn't have material, it doesn't have brush. or
Doesn't have
anything. The other ones in the front, they did, so we had to cover all that, because if not, TCQ was gonna find us.
Because it
even
was
though we
part of the
didn't belong.
TCQ
Yes.
property.
So where can a hole be digged that you're talking about?
We can dig a hole if we agree on doing that. We can actually drive up there and find a spot where we have enough clearance from the fence line to this property. But then my recommendation would be that Commissioner, I want to be involved with fire department, kind of guide us as to, in case there's fire, this is not necessarily to burn, but to be able to pile brush and later on either mulch it. We can bring in our mulchers, or if it's drizzling and the burn ban is lifted, and he said, you know what, it'd be good to go ahead and burn this at this time, maybe perhaps even consider that. not necessarily do that, but give ourselves more options as to what to do with the brush, because right now,
We can check.
we're against the wall.
Where we can do the pit, but we also have to communicate with TCQ before we do the pit, because we have to get approval on the pit before we
So-
get it going. Before we, let's say we do the pit,
Uh-huh.
but then we have to call TCQ so we can get the approval from them that we can do the brush and all that.
I think that's what you talked to the engineer about though, right?
Yes, and then they sent me the paperwork, TCEQ is saying that brush is not considered
Yeah, it's not
trash.
considered trash,
Yeah,
so they don't have to have
So
this.
the reason they're saying that is because Chorizo, the city, is bringing in brush, and they're claiming it under the tonnage of trash, and it's a whole different format of disposal. Trash has to be layered. Brush can be, if you mulch it and they decide to burn it, you just disintegrate it and you're done with it. Versus trash, you can't do that to garbage. I'll call it garbage.
Yeah.
But that's why it's, a lot of times, if they don't really understand the concept, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because they're counting brush as tonnage, garbage tonnage, and it's really not considered garbage.
One of the things that we have to look at, regardless which way the court goes, if it's gonna be brush only, I would think just mulch. The other thing is, if we start accepting brush and we start burning with that brush, and even though we say it won't happen, you'll have construction material going in, like old lumber, pallets, etc. And anything that carries any pesticide for those boards to last a long time, you cannot burn that because again, it as a health hazard. So my thing is, if it's gonna be brush only, let's mulch it, and that way you can save space on those holes. Another thing is, like we discussed it there, it's hard to teach somebody in a week how to extinguish a brush fire if it gets out of control. So I wouldn't recommend, I wouldn't tie the fire trucks into that area for the simple fact that the way the drought is right now, and even if we get a little rain and the fire gets out of, or the county gets pays up for a fire, that means that the fire's gonna be left unattended. And I know we have county trucks that can monitor, but at to what level are the county employees? You're gonna run the risk of somebody getting burned, somebody getting hurt that has no experience in brush fire or how to contain it, or if the truck's pulled out, it's gonna leave the county in a liability with a fire. If for some reason a strong wind comes up and it carries those embers, and then it creates a fire, you're putting the county in a liability position where they're gonna start charging, because all these ranches that lose property on
So
the
you're
fires-
saying not to dig a hole?
Right. Seriously, if you start a fire, it goes to the next property, they charge you so much for it.
Well,
I would say mulch it.
Let's mulch it.
Let's invest on, maybe on a mulcher, on a good sized mulcher, the biggest there is, and mulch it.
We just need to get together to see where exactly you guys want to dig the hole, get it done, and then take it from there.
Yeah,
Bring it back to
exactly.
Commissioner's Court.
And if that
But
machine-
you're saying yes to a hole, he's saying no to a hole, are you saying yes to a hole?
So we're gonna have to dig a hole. I mean, we can mulch it for now, but we're gonna have to buy the equipment to get it mulched. Because we have, us three, we have the small one, but it's the small mulcher. And you can only do like maybe the 3-inch branches. So we're never gonna finish.
And those mulchers are designed for,
So that's why you're saying the 570 something thousand, is what you're talking about?
I mean, this is just one that I got.
So-
There was another one for 700,000, so that's why I'm just letting you guys know the number that we're looking at.
So hole or no hole is my question.
If we mulch it, we can throw it in the pit.
Which pit, your pit or a hole pit?
In the pit that we have, because it's not material, it's not.
And the
it's
pit-
not trash.
that-
Can we
That's
throw it in
already
the
done.
pit? Do we have to?
we can go throw the brush and then go take, for example, right now, if we haul 2 trucks of brush, we can take our small mulcher, mulch it down, and then you already got rid of that pile. But I kind of agree with the Commissioner that when it gotta be brush, strictly brush.
So, do we have to report that brush to?
No, that's what Commissioner Odena was saying, that when he talked to the engineer,
But if
the engineer
we're
told
putting it in
him,
the same pit,
then you have to,
report it.
then you have to. So it's kind
We
of,
use the pit,
it's contradictory.
if we use the pit that's not within the TCEQ acreage,
I know, but Commissioner Boca was saying for us not to build a new hole. She's saying to put it, that there's a pit there already, so
We
if,
can, but for now, we can use the one KS not, just we need to.
but we have to report it.
We have to report it.
But we have to report it, is what she's saying.
So that,
but we don't see that, we're better off just going on to the,
to build in a new one,
right,
yes.
where
So
we
then-
don't have to get.
I know, that's what I'm
So that
saying,
way-
but Commissioner Carmona's position is not to dig a new hole. And I'm asking you, is your position to dig a new hole?
We can, I don't know, only we dig a new one, but just not there, we have to find a location where we're gonna dig it.
Just an area that's outside of the
I'll
TCEQ.
help you with it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, are we gonna be able to take brush there to start developing a schedule, to start taking brush now, or do we
No,
have
we
to
have
wait?
no- we have to go out.
Okay, no, as soon as, I mean, once we get the pit going and all that, then we can start. We just need to figure out what we're gonna do, or how we're gonna work with the city and get it going.
Okay, because I just don't want it to be delayed, because I know that brush is already gonna start again, and then we have spring cleanup, and everybody's gonna start cutting and trimming and pruning, and I don't want it to be a,
If you're picking up brush, I have a mulcher, or you have a mulcher, if you need ours to use ours just to mulch it, go ahead and, Mr. Gonzalez, that, Judge, we can give the, back to the constituents now, there's some that want the.
Well, so the last time when we were discussing it, Mr. Pereira, the information that we got from the attorney, Mr. Franklin, he said exactly what you said. How it can work for us is that we can mulch it, and then we can't give it away, but we can sell it, and that's how the county makes some revenue by mulching the wood. And that's something that he had brought up when we went to the meeting, is that the county can make some revenue if you sell it, I guess, by the bag or however you sell it for like a couple dollars. Because some people in the community want it, and you make some, even if it's a tiny amount of revenue, right? Because we can't give away the mulch, but we can sell it for a minimal amount, is what he had mentioned, the attorney had mentioned at the meeting when we were there.
These mulches that we have, we're not mulch down to material for yard. They don't mulch.
No, what, I'm just going off of what Commissioner Noguera said.
Okay, the machines that we have right now are really not intended to mulch the brush that we're
No,
talking
not the
about.
ones we have,
No.
that's why I'm saying, a big one is gonna cost
Yeah.
us, the one that's gonna do the job. but
The ones we have right now are
the ones we have right
intended,
now, they're not.
if you go out on a pasture and you have an alley you need to open, the trees are standing up, as long as they're less than 6 inches, it'll go in there and grind it down. But not mulch it to where it's mulch that you can use in the yard. It just grinds it down to minimal pieces. It's two different types of mulch. What we're doing is, we're trying to mulch it at the yard on top of the ground, but because it's loose, it kicks it underneath. It's gotta be attached to something so it'll grind it in place. No videos.
So are we approving to dig a hole outside of the quarantine space that's at the landfill and setting a date for ribbon cutting? Is that what your agreement is? Yes, Commissioner Odena, are you making that motion?
So we're gonna dig another hole. But we have to mulch it ourselves, and dispose of it. And then, the ribbon cutting, we're gonna be clear that it's not open to the public for county.
Yes, we can put that on the newspaper.
Like that kind of goes to what happened the first interview, for a week, we had residents. Like that.
Is that your motion? I have the motion by Commissioner Urenda,
Second.
second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
And I guess we'll get with you, Commissioner, to come on a date that you're available.
And invite the city so they know that it's open.
And I will invite the city, ma'am. We'll make an invitation. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 4.1, discussion of appropriate Action approval for Heinz Charlotte jailer Rebecca Serrano to attend Texas Jail Association 40-hour class of jail mental health officer course March 31st through April 4th, 2025.
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm going to cancel this training. The nurse Charlie won't be able to make it, so I'll just wait till one's closer.
No action. Thank you, Ms. Montes. 4.2, the sheriff's report. No. It's the sheriff's report. This one's the sheriff's report. Yours will be the next one. Do we have a sheriff's report, Chief?
He's at a meeting in Austin. I wasn't sure if he had turned it into this.
No, nothing was submitted.
Motion to table.
Motion to table the sheriff's report by Commissioner Uranda, second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Utility and regulatory compliance report.
I'm so lost.
Yes.
You have anything?
Questions of Mr. Jaime?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
Did you get a second? I'm sorry.
I do have a second. I have a second by Commissioner Odena. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hyman. 6.1, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from County Treasurer, Mr. Oscar Ortiz for the month of February 2025.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Here you go. When you're done, you can give it back.
Mr. Ortiz, we still have a couple of $100 on the bonds, 15.
Bonds 15, there's roughly 78,000 left from that bond.
So 378.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, that's in our local bank, and on the next two pages, under text pool, I have the remainder. I apologize. We have $81,700, roughly $81,700. but I try to keep a majority of our money in our investment pools or with our investment broker, just to maximize returns on the unused money.
On June, Mr. Reyes, everything that you guys do, going to the training, well, it was not a training, it was an academy. I thought it was training, it was an academy for investment. What you guys go through, I applaud you guys. And after that, we took a test, so I was like, oh my lord, I know I had some knowledge of accounting, but I stepped in that classroom. So, thank you guys for what you guys do.
Questions on Mr. Ortiz? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Odena, second by Commissioner Noguera, all in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries.
And just real quick on more the HR side, just wanted to make sure that y'all are aware. For our job applications, I started uploading them virtually. So every time we get an applicant, I will send out, respective emails, and it's a Google Drive link that y'all are able to just click on it, and all the applicants are there.
6.2, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from County Auditor, Mr. Carlos Pereira, for the month of January and February 2025.
For the month of February, in total collections through the end of February, we've got $17,071,000. If you look at the current taxes, we had collected $12,898,000. We had budgeted $12,648,000. So we've already over collected $250,000 for the end of February. If you look also on sales tax, which is about 4 items down, 5, under year-to-date totals for this year, it's $2,400,000. If you look at the previous column, it's $1.5 million for last year. So sales tax revenues have gone up this year. In addition to that, our prisoner revenues or bills have gone up from last year, where we had $251,000 this time. This year we have $433,000 at the end of February. So our expenditures are at $7,712,000 for the end of February. So that puts us at $9,308,907 revenues over expenditures at the end of February.
So currently, we're still very financially sound?
Yes, $9,308,907.
Questions of Mr. Pereira?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Noguera. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 6.3, discussion and appropriate action. Approve Keith Franklin firm previously authorized in Commissioners Court for cases dealing with Dimmit County. This was to put it back on the agenda. Commissioner Noguera, as we requested, to give the name of the actual attorney that I had followed up with to assist us on those Commissioner Court dealings. So it's before the court.
Do you guys have to write a copy of the contract?
Mr. Pereira, did you submit a contract?
No, this is basically just to approve it. Approve for that you all had actually authorized her before previously. This is just to put the name down.
So I guess every time that he submits a bill, Commissioner Noguera, it'll be on the claim docket for any submissions that he submits.
Right.
I'm just making sure because his office sent me the copy of the contract. So I don't see it here, so I just want to make sure that all commissioners get a copy of the contract.
Okay.
I'm a little confused. Authorized and approve, what's the difference?
It's just to approve the actual attorney, Mr. Franklin.
always come back and have given authority to the judge, to look for an
For an
attorney.
attorney. So now I'm giving you the name
We
because
always come back and put it through Commissioner's Court. And when we saw him the first time here, we didn't know who he was. That's why we asked him who he was, and that's when he explained that he was the attorney. So, and I said, okay, well, we don't have a contract. Or was that approved through Commissioner's Court? That's how we usually do it.
So she was authorized to seek counsel, but he wasn't approved.
the name, yeah.
On the contract, does it have his yearly, his hourly rate?
It's $250
And how,
That's what I read in the contract. I don't know if it has changed or not. That's what I'm asking. don't see
I
a
think that's the
contract.
same one, Commissioner Noguera.
is that like the going rate?
It's actually extremely cheap because it usually charges what Mr. Perez, like Donato was charging us like 500 hourly, I think
No, it's
475.
No, it's 250.
475 is,
No, 250 was Donato.
no, Donato was 475 because I just saw that for the Border Patrol contract.
I'll go back and check because I
Yeah.
thought this
I need to go
commission. I'll go back and check.
I don't have it, that's with Donato. We've been waiting for like a year and a half already.
So nobody has a Border Patrol contract?
Donato has.
He's the one negotiating
He was the one negotiating.
So we don't have the contract on our end?
No.
it. He already received one, but he's working on it still.
How long are we approving, Keith Franklin, Judge?
It's just
As
as
we go?
needed, yeah.
So there's not like a 2-year, 3-year
No.
contract?
Donato has been the one doing the Border Patrol since 2014.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Talamantes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 6.4, discussion and appropriate action approval for LBMC Technologies LLC for Microsoft Dynamics GP support. This was an item, if you guys can recall, Commissioner Noguera and I were asking about the contract and the amount. If you remember, Noguera, because there was no amount of how much we were going to pay.
And they're on here, and we're paying the same amount, except I am making one change on it, whereas before Innovate, the previous company, had a standard, basically $5,400 for assistance, and so basically they offer $240 an hour, and so I don't think we use them that much anymore, and so we're just going to keep it per hourly basis every time we call in. So I
That's
think
great.
it's going to work out.
It'll be the 240.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out better for us, cheaper.
This is 240 every time we call. So
Right.
there's a number over here that I see, it's
Although
13,500.
that's for the main, that's something else. This is,
So which is what you're asking us to approve?
no, both of them, actually this whole package. Because this one is for the,
One is the maintenance and one is
yes,
service support.
yeah. The master service agreement
So
is the one we
maintenance
need to
is-
have it.
The maintenance for $13,000, it's annually,
That's annual. This is, we're redoing it again this year.
and that's to maintain the software?
The time clocks, our accounting system and all these that were mentioned in here.
And then on top of that, $240.
Yes, every time we call in. Previously we used to approve $5,400 every year, yeah.
$100 every call.
On top of this,
Every
13.
what? Every call, $5,400 every call.
Every year, no, every year.
Every year.
Every year for calls.
So it's
And then, and then basically call for about two
How
hours.
much did Innovate charge us annually? How much would they charge us
Oh,
annually?
on the service, the same thing. I'm sorry, the assistance, it was basically $5,400 for 2 hours.
So we're paying less now?
We're gonna have it, I
I think we're gonna end up paying less.
You think we'll use less than, you'll have less than?
Than what we used to do, yes,
$20
because I don't think we were at the point anymore of using them as much as we were before.
Maybe less than 20, less than 20, so it'll be less than 54.
Correct. I'll let you know next year.
Never change it. Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gonzalez,
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Uranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Six point five, discussion appropriate action, approval to award the depository contract. Mr. Pereira?
This our piece is just did the analysis on that. We went over it.
Snapshot of what, the important things where you needed to know.
Repeat the first part, Mr. Ortiz, I apologize.
No, our bid packets for the banks, it's a lot of information, so I tried to create kind of like a half a page, snapshot of the main information you need to know. First, left side is prime, right side is first date. First section is interest on the accounts. Prime is offering either a fixed 2.5 interest rate on those accounts, or we can choose a variable interest rate, which would be the Fed's fund rate minus 1%, but we get at least 2%. The Fed funds rate is on the bottom. I always recommend going with the fixed, but that's a choice of the court. Versus First State, they had 3 different accounts ranging from 0.35% to 2.02%. So the prime interest rates were higher. On the interest on the CDs, Prime is offering the Fed funds rate minus 0.5%. So again, Fed's fund rate is on the bottom. And what First State was offering.
So let me just to clarify. So what you're saying is that on the interest on the CDs, Prime Bank is offering approximately 3.75
to
4%.
At this time, because the Fed fund rate does change throughout the year. Every time the Federal Reserve meets, they kind of make those decisions to kind of affect the economy. But as of right now, that is the rate.
So because I'm trying to look at it in black and white, right? So
Yes.
for the interest that the county would get, meaning the money we would make, if you will, with Prime, it would be anywhere between 3.75 to 4, and First State Bank is 2.43 to 3.2.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
On CDs.
On the CDs.
But on just the first section, that's just like checking accounts. But if we were to go through CDs through one of these banks, those are the rates that they're willing to offer. But normally, our investment broker does offer us better rates on CDs, so we tend to go with them. But if the bank did offer a better rate, then we could go with the bank.
But they're also getting pretty close to what they're offering.
With the investment, that's what it sounds
Yes,
like.
very close to basically what the bank does.
Correct. Yes.
How often do you review the rates? How often is it like that you,
Rates on checking accounts or rates on CDs?
like this, how often do you check the rates to see, like, do we have a contract signed with?
So this depository contract, it's for 4 years with the option to extend for 2. So they are offering their rates for the length of this contract. And there's also stipulations in the contract that we proposed. Under law, we're able to negotiate new rates, but the contract follows, what's stated in the law and, the terms of it. But I just wanted to provide y'all something quick to look at, so y'all could kind of see it.
Thank you for that. I couldn't get the question out.
That's
You
okay.
answered my question.
So, based on your recommendation and the recommendation of the auditor, what are you guys recommending?
What I am recommending, that Prime Bank is offering the better deal when it comes for the county's finances. They're offering better interest rates on their checking. I don't think we would ever need a loan from the bank, but if we ever did, they are providing a better rate for that loan. Prime is also not charging us any fees on any of our requested services versus First State. They would charge us a fee on positive pay, and then they'd offer us bank costs for deposit slips and coded checks. But I mean, when you look at the financials of the two banks, First State, they are a lot bigger banks, so they do have a lot more money, as you can see from the spreadsheet. They have 8 locations, First State, versus Prime just has 3. But I mean, the size of the bank sometimes doesn't matter, but I mean, we are protected under the law if something does happen, with the banks. That is why, like I mentioned earlier, I don't try to keep too much money at our local bank, so I can maximize returns in case, something does happen with the bank, we're protected in that sense.
I make a motion to award it to Prime Bank.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba to award it to Prime Bank of Texas, and we have a second by Commissioner Jose Urena. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 6.6, discussion and appropriate action, approval to awards bids for basketball court in Carrizo Hills, Precinct 7. I think we only had one bid, Commissioner Rubalcaba. And that was for Commissioner Rubalcaba. On that bid, if you can recall, it had the 2 alternatives, because you had your one bid was to approve to erect it, which was like one something, and then if you wanted them to put in the basketball courts and something, it went up to 232,000. 232,000, I believe. I know, I was trying to see if Ms. Hernandez, do you by any chance have that document from the last time? You didn't bring it with you, Ms. McDaniel? Do you want to just,
I was gonna go, my motion is to do all of it.
but I just want to put on the record what the amount is. Because we only have one bidder. Do you want to table it, or do you want?
Give me a second to get my card written it down.
Okay.
And the previous-
I have it written down, but I don't have it from the last time, so it's.
You don't have that pretty much? It was,
I wrote it down in my notes, but I don't have my notes with me.
you have 202,060.73.
$202,663.
202,060.73.
202,060
60
with
with 73 cents.
73 cents.
And that was for everything?
And you're asking for everything, Commissioner Rubalcaba? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Discussion appropriate action, budget adjustment between the jail department, budget number 15. This particular request for a budget adjustment is because the jail has already depleted how much money they've used for trainings. So they have no more money in their budget for trainings, and so they're requesting for monies to be moved from one line item to another line item so that they can use for trainings.
So moved.
Motion. Motion to approve by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
So you're taking it from the capital equipment.
It's because historically speaking, and Ms. Montes can probably speak to this, the jail usually was not allowed to go on a lot of trainings, is what I was told.
Correct.
So that's why the budget for training has always been lower. And
I had it,
they've been sending a lot of their employees to trainings, so it's depleted how much money they have.
and they're taking their TICO license, so out of 11 out
So
of
what-
5 passed already.
So what's happening is that they're hiring individuals that are not yet certified to be jailers. And essentially, once they've put in so many hours, the county pretty much pays for them to go get certified. And it was not necessarily done like that before. It was before, in the past, the previous administration wouldn't allow for the county to pay for that. And now they're paying for it, so it's costing every time that they send somebody to get.
Is there a contract with these jailers not to stay employed there, they have to pay the money back?
There is nothing in writing, but that would be a good idea.
I would think so.
Well, if they don't pass, they can pay it on their own if they want to continue with their trailer license, of course.
All in favor? Thank you, Ms. Montes. 6.8 claim docket, general fund 773. Give me 1 minute. General fund 773, 296 and 27 cents. Dimmit County Airport 4,463 and 10 cents. Dimmit County Golf Course 18,194 and 38 cents. Courthouse Security 8,246 and 31 cents. Records Management 3,881 and 83 cents. Utilities 62,120 and 95 cents. Rodeo Arena 2150. Stone Garden 1,240 and 44 cents. Operation Lone Star 2022, $61,861.45. CTIF 10,000. Payroll 1,169,951 and 66 cents. Tax note series 2023, 25,075 and 44 cents. For a grand total of $2,140 and $481.83.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Carmona. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Odena. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? We have one abstention, Commissioner Rubalcaba. Mande. Yes.
Mr. Pereira.
And Mr. Pereira, we're gonna ask that moving forward, the deadline for the claim docket is going to be on Wednesday. Anything after Wednesday, we're not going to accept a claim docket here on the floor. Just FYI.
They're still gonna print us out a copy, right? Right here. You can still print out a copy, you just can't add anything to it after Wednesday.
Can't make any changes.
Yes.
I will, that's what I was asking, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday's fine.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Mr.
Real quick about the claim docket.
I'm just asking for, because this one's on my part, for when I do the state comptroller's quarterly reports. So my reports are based off the time, how people turn things into my office. So sometimes I get things turned in kind of early, sometimes things get done kind of late. And depending on when the meeting is, that might affect when I finish the report. So if I get it done late, I still can't turn in that payment for the comptroller's office.
So you want us to do it Thursday?
Well, that's why I'm asking, because that'll cover me for sure. Because I try to get it done as quick as possible, but when I can start on it really depends on when everybody turns things into me.
I would say then yes, it would have to be delayed because the issue that we're having as Commissioner's Court is that when it gets emailed to us, that's when we review it, but then when we get here, it's different.
Okay.
So
Thursday?
Thursday.
That's one of them, but also basically has to do with the grants too. When something comes up or transfers or anything, and that's why we do it, the additional list, or emergencies that need to go in there.
Okay, you identify
So what we'll do is,
Yeah.
what we'll do is do the deadline for Thursday, Mr. Pereira, to submit it or email it to us on Thursday. And if there's any changes, just please make us aware. Thank you.
That way we don't sit here. Once we see it here, it's different than what we got emailed on Wednesday.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to recess and adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Talamantes, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Let me just do this, give me 1 second. I'm gonna call the meeting to order for the public facilities. The time is 2:57. Let the record reflect that all parties are present, and we do have a quorum. Approval of minutes of March 10th, 2025.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, discussion and appropriate action, new business, excuse me.
If y'all guys will look on page 121, I have submitted a report for the public facilities. It just shows a little bit on the stuff that we have worked on, that we completed, some of the stuff that's pending, that we are still working on. We did have a meeting with the Rio Sector's main maintenance. It finally feels like we're on the right track to getting more work orders done. I think that the delay and miscommunication that we were having in the facility was that at the same time that we had a change of command, they also did as well. But on their end, they are going to fill that position, so it's finally looking like we might be able to get things done in a timely manner. As I did say earlier, I still do not have the contract with the Border Patrol station, so if Mr. Pereira or somebody, he left already, but somebody can provide that for me so I can read it over, because that is the main topic of discussion in the facility right now, and I don't have anything to reference to.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
You have a question?
When she gets the updated contract, the new contract, can I get a copy of it? Because I have the old one.
Yes.
But I know it was renewed 2 years ago. Since every 10 years. I don't have the new one.
Yes. As soon as I get it, I'll show you.
As soon as we get it, we're waiting on Donato, Commissioner. It's been really hard, and Mr. Perez's not here, for us to get, I don't know, Mr. Ramos is like kind of on the retirement route, but we've been trying to work with him to get that contract because Sector is asking for it, and I know that there was a change in the contract because Sector now wants us to incur a $250,000 additional cost that wasn't there before. So as soon as Mr. Pereira we can get the Donato, I will give everybody a copy. Now I entertain a motion to approve Commissioner Talamantes' new business report. Motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? 3.1, discussion and appropriate action monthly report. For financial report, Mr. Pereira, for the public facilities.
Should be there.
The clean up.
Any questions of the monthly report?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Odena. Second by Commissioner Rubalcaba. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.2, claim docket, public safety, $14,143.25. Motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to recess and adjourn. I have a motion by Commissioner Rubalcaba.
You can have it.
Second by Commissioner Talamantes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. This meeting has ended. The time is 3:01.